Welcome to the show, the Artificial Intelligence Show or Human Intelligence Show. I'm really excited about tonight's topic. We're going to be talking about search, about this dominant platform of search. You want to get an answer to a question, to the problem that you have. You want a quick answer. You want someone who, with authority, is going to give you that answer. And we have three authorities tonight joining us on the Mr. Hatman show. And Mr. Stan Harris is with us in the house. And Dr. Nick Delgado, he is a PhD in all kinds of different, I don't know, you can maybe introduce yourself in a moment. But, you know, you have a world record in bodybuilding, Dr. Nick. Share a little bit about your background and Stan. I think a lot of people here already know Stan. He's like, I don't know, you're like a martial arts champion, black belt competition. I wish I had all your stats in front of me right now, but I just want to let you know these are experts in health, wellness, fitness, and we're not going to be talking about anything controversial other than how do you get your message out on YouTube. So let me think. Nick, you were here first, so maybe why don't you just share a little bit, like 30 seconds about your background, and then we'll go to Dr. Stan. Nick, are you there? Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear. Can you hear me, Dr. Stan? You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, I hear you now. I hear you. You just couldn't hear me.
Okay. So he may have some connection issues, but why don't you share a little bit about your background for people who may not know you?
Hey, anyway, peace, breakthrough, and divine increase. So again, my beautiful wife, Nadia, my ABCD, my adorable brown caramel delight. We say we aspire to inspire breakthroughs even after we've expired. And so as a minister, a martial artist, I happen to be blessed to be voted into the Black Belt Hall of Fame, as well as a motivational speakers Hall of Fame. We write books. We empower people in business. We built a team in home-based business to 1.5 million members. And we're all about just empowering people and helping them to do whatever they do. And so anyway, appreciate you. Appreciate being part of this as well. And I know, folks, you're going to get a breakthrough today.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Dr. Nick, can you hear us? I think he's still not hearing us. There's must be some sort of a technical thing going on. Dr. Nick, hello?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't hear the introduction from our host, but Victor Grant, you're amazing. Our guest from Dallas, Texas, you guys are incredible. You know, I wrote the book Blood Doesn't Lie, and also Mastering Love, Sex, and Intimacy, and Acting Be Gone for Good, and Grow Young and Slim. So quite a diverse area of subjects. My newest book is coming out soon on energy for life. I love to do YouTube. It's my favorite platform. I study everything Victor teaches me, and I've been leaning into it, having a great time because, you know, I love to educate, train, and motivate people. And what's more important than helping people on their path to a better career, better relationships, exciting, incredible health. And if you have incredible energy and health, then you can really take your spirituality even to the next level. It all comes together, right, guys?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. And so, you know, I looked at Dr. Nick for my health and my wellness as well. And he has a nutritional company. And, you know, it's challenging if you're a business owner to get your nutritional products out there because there's so much disinformation. But what we need to do is get our message out on YouTube with like a freedom of speech, but in such a way that we're not violating any policies is the best way I could say it. And I kind of think about this Spider-Man movie. Did you ever watch a Spider-Man movie with Robert Downey Jr., where they're in the back of the limo and he says, hey, don't do what I do, and certainly don't do what I wouldn't do. That little gray area, that's where you operate, Mr. Spider-Man. So you be this young kid, just operate in that little gray area. What we're going to talk about tonight is what is that gray area? How can you get your message out there in such a way in the most competitive landscape there is? And that landscape is YouTube. I oftentimes jokingly say, well, YouTube owns Google, because it really is that way now. YouTube is more popular than I would say even Google search. It's more popular than Maps. It's more popular than Facebook by at least double. And it became a huge surge because people were relying on it for their news all over the world. And so what a lot of people don't realize is if you want to have a tiny little piece of the YouTube pie, there are certain rules that you need to follow. And I'm going to give you the first rule right now. You have to make videos that people want to watch. Now, that may seem very simple, but it's actually a lot harder because people today have a much shorter attention span. You've got to get your message across in 9 seconds, 10 seconds at most. You have to reinforce that message in the first 20 seconds, and then you have to carry it through to the first minute and the second minute. If you can get people on average to watch you for 2 minutes, then it's like the gates of heaven will open up. So you have to look at your average watch time on your YouTube videos, and you want to make the analytics look like a hockey stick, right? Like you don't want people to actually not look like a hockey stick. If it looks like a hockey stick, that means people are dropping off in that first minute and then they're gone, and a few people stick around for the whole presentation. Well, there are some techniques that you can learn, and I shared this with Nick and his editing team earlier today, and I said, you know what? Don't overthink it. I'm going to show you an example with one of my friends. I from back in the 90s, I interviewed Deepak Chopra at least a dozen times back in the 90s, and no one ever really even heard of him. In fact, I even knew Deepak before he had published his best-selling books. So a lot of people don't know, but he's I actually connected with him through transcendental meditation. My mom got me into TM when I was in elementary school. So, and he was like the spokesman for transcendental meditation. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background and relatedness on what you're going to see here. But he teamed up with this guy in India called Sadhguru, and they have every one of their videos gets like 1.5 million views. And what we're going to do tonight is we're going to deconstruct that in terms of being able to take the learning from this video and be able to duplicate these type of results, not duplicating the content, but duplicating the structure and why it works. Okay. Are you good with that, Dr. Stan? You're muted again.
I'm on the show live. Will you help me out?
I'm good, bro.
Oh yeah, we see Dr. Nick showing up at his office with all of his
There
books.
he is.
There he is.
Get
Can
me
you
on
hear
the
us
show,
now?
Skype. Hey guys, so I think we're all on a journey, and that journey is challenged by some very difficult times that we all have been facing. And so for us, we have to be quite creative to put on a good show, particularly with YouTube. And Victor's taught me quite well that first 48 seconds is critical to getting people's attention, verbally using the key words that you want to use. And all that being said, I step into this world and wonder, all the chaos, and yet at the same time, we have to be the calm in the midst of the storm and kind of guide people, because there's a few people out there that have their head on straight and know how to shut off the external media that's kind of a little overwhelming and a little bit too negative. You repeat a lie often enough and people will believe it. So it's time for us to kind of help people open the eyes and kind of guide them through this journey, because there are certain truths. And that's why I did write the book, Blood Doesn't Lie. Of course, I'm excited about it because, I'm trying to tell the truth to people and get them, going in the right direction. Their diet, their exercise, their mindset, the quality of their sleep, avoiding substances. I mean, look, what did they do? They left liquor stores open. They left pot houses open. They closed down churches. I'm like, really? Is that what's going to get people healthy? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Drinking alcohol increases estrogen levels, gives guys man boobs. dude, I don't know about you, but I like a good looking chest on a guy and I like a hot looking chest on a woman, but don't get them confused.
I love
Come
it,
on
Nick.
now,
You just
come
says
on.
it like it is.
Well, I
love
got
it,
to
man.
tell you, you know what? I'm one of these, I shouldn't say it, but I'm an alpha male. And, you know, I have 5
Oh,
children.
you too?
Yes, sir. And 3 grandchildren. And, you know, I'm proud. I'm single. I'm a guy that, you know, the love of my life, tragically, she died when when my son was born 28 years ago. But, you know, I'm out here sharing the truth about optimizing a guy's hormone levels and a gal, getting people at that peak condition to have energy to really survive what I think is going to be the toughest time in the history of the world. And I think that we've only seen the beginning of people losing their jobs and, you know, people, you know, not knowing and being confused and depending on government checks. It's a crazy thing. And I think we've got to help people to elevate entrepreneurship. And meanwhile, they're trying to shut down all the middle businesses and all the big power guys are sucking it all up. But you know what? There's room for us. If we think clearly and we move through this jungle, which is really the toughest jungle that we've ever faced, we can do this, but it's going to take kind of subgroups together and being careful to work around the landmines, the censorships, the weird things going on. But, you know, you got to think a little bit more clearly in these times, but I think we can do it together.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Dr. Stan, any comments on that?
Amen, amen, amen. Say it some more.
Okay.
Because see, here's the thing people have to understand is, you know, see, a mind impregnated with fear can only produce bad decisions. And so people are listening to all this fear, all this information. They're turning on the news in the morning. They listen to it late at night. And so again, a mind impregnated with fear can only produce bad decisions. That's what's happening. On the other hand, what I'm all about, what Doc's all about, what Vic's all about is a mind impregnated with faith can only produce good decisions, my friend. And so faith, fully anticipating it to happen, but you have to learn to anticipate the good things that happen by doing the good things, putting the right things in, you know, planting better seeds and plucking up the weeds. That's one thing that, you know, in a nutshell, for your health, for your emotional health, your spiritual health. And that's what we got to do. That's what it's got to be about. And leveraging YouTube is just incredible.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
I think you're absolutely right. And YouTube is a marvelous device that reaches everyone in the world. And virtually everyone in the world needs this message. And, you know, I'm a guy who believes in what we call the 7 pillars of health. And I've had some amazing mentors. I mean, like Bob Whelan, who walked across America on his hands, a double amputee, serving our country in Vietnam, and he shook hands with Ronald Reagan, one of the last great presidents. And, you know, you think about it, you know, if you look at Bob Whelan, who instead of just coming back from Vietnam without legs, even though he had a baseball contract to play for the Philadelphia Phillies, professional ball, you know, he could have lost all interest in life. He could have become an alcoholic. He could have, you know, stressed the system of veterans. And, you know, there's a lot of sad stories about veterans. And I love veterans. They fought for our freedom, and now we've lost our freedom. So we really have to learn how to pull together. You know, I'm one of these guys that I don't give up. And I competed against the world's strongest strength endurance guys in the world. I outlifted Dragan Radovich in the World Championships, went on past London to the Arnold Classic in March of 2016. And I get to go backstage with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but here's me lifting a pair of dumbbells that I'm known for, and I go nonstop at record pace. And, you know, I guided some incredible people like Bob Del Monteith here, shown at age 84, and Kelly Nelson at age 74, and the daughter in the blue swimsuit at age 44. You know, these are people that turn to me for advice and guidance. And we look at how can we optimize their energy and, you know, do the things that are necessary. And as we age, and I'm no young pup, I'm 67, but I used to be quite overweight 44 years ago. I struggled with obesity, skin conditions, acne, and ED. And so I wrote this book, Mastering Love, Sex, and Intimacy, because it was a 38-year journey to figure out how to help guys and gals to have a better love life. And, you know, I revealed some secrets in the book that even John Gray, author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, went on to say, Nick, you've got it all explained quite well, hormonally and nutritionally, and what guys and gals need to do to improve their love life. Because there's one thing we know, people who have a great love life live longer and stick with community tribes, and bond together. These people live longer. In all the blue zones, that's one thing that stood out, that really showed and shined. Sometimes the diet was a little different. Mostly they're moving towards plant-based. Most of them do exercise, but some of them smoke like a fiend. I mean, there's some strange things and habits that people have, but there is one thing we know, and universally, love and community is absolutely essential. Here's me and Suzanne Summers. You know, she's quite a pioneer. She beat breast cancer. Quite interesting, you know, her story. And she's into bioidentical hormones. I love the idea of optimizing hormones and peptides. And there's a lot of athletes here like Karen, who I've guided. And Karen Reed won the Natural Miss California. But I think what I'm most proud of is, you know, kind of taking my fat slob body and bringing myself to get into great shape. And every year my goal is to get in better shape and guide thousands of people. As Ray Wilson, I'm pictured here with him. He's in Mexico right now. Ray Wilson Family Fitness. He set up 8 fitness centers in Mexico, the best premier fitness centers in the world. And here he is, 92. Can you imagine coming out of retirement at age 92 and breaking all the records? And who better than, remember, up in Northern California, Victor, you'll know this guy. I don't know if you can see Jack LaLanne, right? Jack LaLanne, one of the greats, shown in a picture at age 94. And he said, Nick, keep it up. Keep inspiring those people. So, you know, I think that when you look at my bookshelf, and, you know, Ty Lopez is currently in my coaching program. I guide some of the great people like Laura Langmeyer, millionaire maker, and Ty Lopez. Isn't Ty buying up all these businesses now, and he's rebranding them, but he's doing it through social media, right? He's learned how to harness YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I've seen where I've gone to his home, and he's got like 3 different phones going with each of the social media platforms. So, you know, you could have the greatest solution as an expert, as an author, as an inventor, as a musician, but if it doesn't get out, if you don't get out to the people, then they'll never know all the great things you have to share. So it's your responsibility, according to Russell Brunson, and he talks about secrets, expertsecrets.com, right? I think the one thing I read as much as, besides medical literature and journals and education and science, is the psychology of the mind, because I was Tony Robbins' life coach. Can you imagine standing next to the big guy, Tony Robbins, who's written some of the greatest books? My favorite book of all of his ever written, Awaken the Giant Within. And here's a picture of Tony Robbins and me in Hawaii. And then there's Rampage Jackson, who I guided, trained with him before he knocked out Chuck Liddell. And there's Randy Couture, if you follow UFC at all. But the point is, Tony Robbins, the man himself, he and I would share at these big events like Date with Destiny. And I would pair off with Tony himself, and he would share some inner thoughts and secrets about himself. I got to tell you, we're all human, guys. And the point is that you can't depend on other people to really shed or open up the world for you. It's an inner journey, but you have to have the mindset to be your very best. And that inner journey begins to being able how to project on camera, get enthusiastic and passionate, because people love passion, enthusiasm, and they love intrigue. They love curiosity. They enjoy newness. And remember that the 6 human needs include security, but also variety. And you have to understand, when I wrote my book, Mastering Love, Sex, and Intimacy, you know, I included each of the steps of intrigue and excitement that keeps your mate interested in you. People get bored. And, you know, in this day in society, when you get bored, you got to think of what's intriguing, what's fascinating about this. You got to really direct your mind to be focused and accomplish marvelous goals. Don't you think, Victor and my friend there? I mean, what's up with life, right? It's all about your passion and enthusiasm and excitement.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm motivated. I'm motivated. Well, so Dr. Stan, this is my doctor. Whenever I say, you know, hey, I'm not feeling too good, I call up Nick and he says, boom, here, this is what you do. And he's always right. Right. when it comes to nutrition, he's the man, right? And when it comes to martial arts, Dr. Stan, you're the man. And motivation and inspiration. So, you know, it's really, really great to have you here today. What do you think? Like, all I can say is like, wow, you know, I'm not an alpha male. I'm actually found out that they actually call us sigma males.
No,
You know, we're a different type of male. Well, how about you, Dr. Stan? What do you think about what Dr. Nick had to say? I mean, it's truth, man.
Oh yeah, most definitely, and awesome. And you know, I always teach people everybody can't be a CEO and everybody can't be a COO or CFO, but everybody can be a CLO, and the CLO stands for Chief Leveraging Officer. So Archimedes said, if I had a lever long enough and a prop strong enough, I could single-handedly move the world. And so the power of leverage, you know, I used to travel with Jim Rohn, who was known as the foremost business philosopher, you know, the guy that mentored Tony Robbins in the early days. But Jim said, what you lack in education, you can make up for in leverage. What you even lack up in skill, you can make up in leverage. And the power of leveraging YouTube, the power of leveraging, and also collaboration. You know, I always say 1 + 1 is 2. That's cooperation. That's pretty good. But 1 and 1 is collaboration. That's a whole lot better, because addition can never connect or even get close to multiplication. And you can multiply, get this now, get your message out there so much faster, get so much more done, collaborating with other powerful people. But again, leveraging technology, leveraging YouTube. And that is what you teach best, my brother Victor. So take it away.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. So, Bob will be joining us in about 7 minutes. And so Bob is my business partner. He invented SEO, or search engine optimization. He's written 9 books on it. And my software was mentioned in 2 of his most recent books that are on Kindle right now. They're called SEO for Authors and SEO for Small Business. And I highly recommend you go check those out on Amazon. They're available. I think it's really inexpensive, like $3 or $4 for each Kindle book. But that gives you the knowledge from the man himself who invented search engine optimization. And he endorses our software, Search Triggers, which Nick is a customer of. It was actually about, what was it, about a year ago, Nick? Year and a half ago? 2 years ago. I guess it was 2 years ago. We met on a cruise ship, and it was actually he was like checking me out, but we didn't actually meet until after the cruise was over. And then we ended up spending a few days together in his lab and his office. I got to meet his team, and then we ended up going to Traffic and Conversion Summit together. So what Nick did was he had his team pick up my software, which I'm going to put up on screen here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, Search Triggers. I invented Search Triggers in 2012, actually, and this is now version, we release a new version every year. So how many years is that? I guess we're up to version at number 8. And this software has withstood the test of time because, according to Bob, it's the best search keyword research software on the planet. It's the closest thing to a secret weapon you can have for when it comes to search. And so I looked at Nick's YouTube channel. Let me add him back to the stream here. Hey, Nick, I can see you there now.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, now he's got the real setup. He's not on his phone anymore. He's got his boom mic. Okay.
There you go.
Now he's there, Mr. Broadcaster.
I don't know if you can hear me, though. Let's see.
I can hear you great.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm highly coachable. I'm one of these guys that, I dive deep in science and I love, helping, guiding people. But, marketing, I really thrill. Some people have issues with being around marketing people. They once said that if you do a good sales pitch to a salesman, they're likely to buy. And marketers respect when another marketer is given great information. And so,
Right.
Victor's one of these guys that he's right there. He's kind of in your face, tells you what you need to do, and you just got to listen and shut up and do it, And And then it works. And when it works, you're on to that next level. And we all want to get to the next level. It kind of sucks to be a bottom feeder. You guys know what I mean. It's okay to have a company that's doing a few $1,000s a month and paying, for some side fund. But, most of us entrepreneurs, if we've been in it 10 years or more, I've been in it 44 years, I'm unemployable. I can't work for anyone. But the reality is, when I'm out there doing my energy, my fun, and doing what I love to do, you attract a tribe, and that tribe grows, and you want that community, and you want to tap into that community and follow up with quality content, email drip campaigns that really gets them to get excited and enrolled, and not just, the services you offer, but, start with the books, the ebooks, and if you haven't done a book, just transcribe one of your best talks, turn it into a book. Shit. I've written more than 10 books. It's crazy. And I'm turning out more books during COVID than any time in history because less people are contacting me and taking up my time. But, the reality is we have a coaching program that bar none is the best, and we've created it so it can be automated. So the more you can get your content out there and automate it with excellent videos. Also, of course, I'm on all platforms, Spotify, iTunes. This morning, I shot a few Instagram reels, and I'm like, I've never done it before, but you got to be bold, get it out there and try it. I got a couple techs I work with that are great, and Victor's the best in the world, but you got to get at it. If you don't, if you just lay back and wait for the world to change, the world's not going to change. It's you that has to change.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, thank you. All
right.
By
the way, I always like to say it only takes one person or one decision or one action to change your life forever. You are that person. You must decide and you must take action. So I told my son the other day, my life changed? He said, no, when? I said, when I changed my life. Back to you.
Wow. So I want to acknowledge a few people here in the audience. Aloha Concepts Marketing, Selena. I don't know anyone who doesn't want to notch it up. Thank you, Selena. And she also says, well said. So if you're watching this live on YouTube, please feel free to write a comment or a question, and we can bring it up here into the broadcast. But Nick, you remember you hadn't quite hit 1 million views when we started going, and I'm congratulating you. You did what I wanted you to do. You believed in me. You introduced me to your Russian tech guy.
Right.
You bought my software, and then I taught him how to use it. And now you're at 1.5 million.
That's right. And you know what? Where I'm at 1.5 million, I want to get to 10 million, then 100 million. And there's nothing wrong with looking at what other people are doing, but you got to follow the people that are successful. And Victor's that guy that he chases after the best in the world. And when he sees talent, he gets after it. And, some of us, we have something we're passionate about and we keep it a secret. Well, shoot, our goal is if you're good at what you do, you want to teach others what you do. And when you teach others, you get better at doing it. So, like I said, I rarely come on marketing podcasts to help others. But I got to say, to come from virtual obscurity and, from the day when we used to do live seminars like Tony Robbins, he'd be next door doing the fire walk. I said, what the hell are these people doing walking on fire? That's craziness. And I was in my room talking about, health and nutrition for 44 years. And, he had helped to promote Harvey Diamond, Fit for Life. And now my new book, Energy for Life, is coming out. And I am so excited about it because you know what? You've got to have energy to crush it, but you've got to have some clear thought and you got to build sleep. And you can't expect energy from caffeine and all these stimulants. Granted, once in a while I'm driving home late at home and I got to keep alert. But, if you're depending on coffee every day, even 1 cup a day, I got to question what's your energy source. And once you learn what I'm teaching, the 7 pillars of health, it takes you that next level. And Victor is this kind of guy. He hangs out at my house. We had a poker game. We had a bunch of hot girls there. Of course, they were invited by me, and Victor had nothing to do with it. So don't mind us. His girlfriend's fine. Don't worry. But, we were doing a book signing about mastering love, sex, and intimacy. And there was these hot Amore girls wearing these T-shirts. And you got to have a sense for marketing. Your Doobie Brother videos just crushing it. And you get all that traffic, and then you can kind of feed off that. Right, Victor? Yeah,
exactly. You have to go with where the market is. The thing is that we love the Doobies, and Bob was going to be here in a moment, He was the I think the one of the managers for Tommy Johnston, who's the lead singer for the Doobies, when he had the Tommy Johnston band, and he was he's a music lawyer, and he invented SEO, search engine optimization, and we're really privileged to be working together. But I mean, I love the Doobies. Everybody on this channel loves the Doobies, but the reason people come and watch the video are all the dancing girls. Let's just face it.
Absolutely.
All the girls. It's all the girls. It's all the wives and the girlfriends of the band and the producers and everything like that get up on stage at the end of the show, and they're all dancing behind the band. And every comment on the video is not about the band or how good the music is. They said, this is perfect. It's the feeling. I feel like I'm there. I want to be there. And, it's just like I was there. And it was awesome to be there just in this moment of just joy. And people are craving that moment of joy. And I think it doesn't even matter what the content is so much. It's the context and the energy and the enthusiasm that you have with your message. That's what causes people to pay attention. So I think it was a couple weeks ago, I had the author Daryl Eves of the YouTube Formula here live on the show. And he gave some real good nuggets, and I'm going to go apply some of those nuggets into today's talk that we're going to be getting into in just a few minutes, because we've now set the stage. Okay. We have Nick, who is a client and a friend, and we work together. He advises me on nutrition and health, and I advise his team on SEO, and it's working. And I made a course called Tube Relevance, How to Generate Your First Million Views on YouTube. Now, I'm no expert when it comes to something like Daryl Eves. Daryl Eves is the expert of experts. He is the mentor of Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast wrote the foreword to that. He is the mentor of some of the top people on YouTube. He has inspired and generated, through his channels and through his JVs and his partnerships, 60 billion with a B views on YouTube. And this formula is the brand new stuff. Now, I'm not getting a commission for this. I'm just sharing this because I love this book. I've now read it twice. It's the hardest journey I've ever undertaken because it's not my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is YouTube SEO. My wheelhouse is actually being able to run the numbers. And what Daryl has shown me is it's not about the numbers. It's about the audience. It's about, is your message the right message for that audience? And can you convey that message in 20 seconds? Can you convey that message in 10 seconds? Can you get people to do that? Can you split test thumbnails? He opened up my eyes in a way I never even realized. Mr. Beast and a lot of the top YouTubers, he informed me that they have as much as 4 or 5 full-time employees, right? Working 4 or 5 days on thumbnail images, split testing it with the shade of the color, the shade of the font, the balance of the image with the font that's on the thumbnail. They spend so much time analyzing these thumbnails that most people go, oh my God, if I had to actually put 12 to 20 hours into one thumbnail image, that's what it takes, right? It's your thumbnail and your title. But even more than your title, it's your topic. One of my colleagues, I'm in a master group on YouTube with like YouTube creators. And he said that the new algorithm is capable of analyzing every frame of your video for facial expression, for content, for background image. In other words, this book cover right here, YouTube can see that that book is right here. It will automatically find people who have read this book and show this book video to them. That's how smart this AI, artificial intelligence, is. So if you have a symbol, or you have a brand, or you have a logo, or you have something that people recognize, that's the meme that's going to cause people to connect with your channel. So more than ever, you now have to realize, Nick and Dr. Stan, have you seen the film The Matrix?
Of course. Oh yeah.
Okay. The Matrix is here, and I don't think it's evil. I think it's learning. It's like a babe, right? And so all this week, the whole week, and probably the next few weeks, this entire series we're working on is, okay, what would you say to the artificial intelligence if you now know that it's listening to every word, it's looking at your facial expressions, it wants to see, are you here to manipulate it? Are you here to mislead people? Are you here to give fake news? Are you here to give real news? Or are you caring? We had Dr. DeMartini on the show here a couple weeks ago, and he talked about this idea of, like, most people today are extremely careful, and that's a problem. He said that what we want to do is we want to be caring, because that would keep the rings on the finger, right? If you're married. So you want to be caring with others. And I think that's the attitude we need to build with YouTube. That's the attitude. How does AI determine if you're caring? It can feel your emotions in your facial expressions and your gestures. They have found that if you gesture with your hands, people trust you more. The more gestures you have with your hands and it's authentic and you're looking right at the camera and people can feel your authenticity. They did a study that the most viral videos had they counted the number of gestures. The ones that had the most gestures that were authentic and not orchestrated had the most trust, and they went the most viral. So you want to have your hands above the camera where people can see them. You have to be genuinely interested. So that's one huge tip that I can give you in having people watch your videos more. Now, we've been here live for 37 minutes, and now I'm actually giving you the best stuff. I haven't even started giving you the best stuff. And I just started, like, the gestures, the hand gestures, okay? So what do? You've got to take the best stuff, slice it out, and put it at the beginning of your video. That's the secret. If there was a secret, and that's secret number 2. Secret number 1, show your hands. Secret number 2, take your best 20 seconds of your entire video, whether it's 45 minutes or an hour, it doesn't matter. And there is a myth that short videos are better. It's not true. Long videos are better because the average watch time, no matter what, is going to be about 4 to 5 minutes. But once you have a video and people are watching that video, you can look at the numbers, you can look at the analytics, you can look at the graph, you can see where people are watching. Now, because the AI, artificial intelligence right now that I'm talking about something that the artificial intelligence of YouTube cares about, and because I'm being caring to this machine, more people, now get this, more people just showed up in the live stream because we changed the subject. We changed the subject to something that was more cohesive with the title and the description, which I'm now going to read for you. Isn't that interesting, Nick and Dr. Stan?
Very much powerful, practical, and makes a lot of sense.
We tripled our audience.
That's because the Hat Man came on. They said, we're tired of being healthy. We're tired of being motivated. We want some strategy.
We want to roll up our sleeves.
But you got to have them all. You got to have them all, baby.
You got to have them all. But isn't that cool that you have to have your hand gestures? It was actually a TED Talk, and it was drawn to my attention. It totally makes sense. Can you imagine the job of someone to look at a video and count how many times they gesticulated? And watch thousands of videos on TED and try to figure that out? That's the kind of stuff that this AI can tell. Like, and they also, like, when Selena is here, like, look at this. Selena comes on and says, wow, how does AI determine if you're caring? Okay. As soon as she put that comment in the chat, our views tripled, because YouTube now says, oh, it's not just a bunch of guys talking to each other. They actually have an audience. Right? As soon as we put out a keyword about something that's trending, and I could actually go now, I could go to YouTube Trends and I could tell you what's trending right now. The three of us could have a conversation about Kim Kardashian, right? We could have a conversation about, like, I just heard Caitlyn Jenner is going to be running for governor of California. See, this is what people care about. Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Does either one of them have natural body parts?
Come on now.
And see, Aloha Concepts Marketing, she said, Vic, I'm so sorry because I miss your show because I'm busy from 1 to 1:30. I said, well, you know, she popped in at 1:27, right? And as soon as she popped in, YouTube knew that she popped in. YouTube knows that she pops in every single week, and she has been for almost a year, right? When someone shows up to what you have to say, that's when the algorithms kicks in. And if they're bored and they're not paying attention, they think, you know, it goes both ways. If they're not paying attention, then they're going to say, well, chances are other people won't pay attention to this. Let's show them the news. Let's show them the latest scandal that's happening. Let's show them the latest political thing that's happening. So, you know what my homepage is when I first turn on my browser?
Right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hot girls from Doobie Brothers.
No, it's trends.google.com. Trends.google.com. It's not google.com because I'm not interested in searching. I'm going to trends.google.com. I'm going to show you that right now.
And hey, Vic, I've got to go on. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, let me let you have the final word, and I'm going to send you the replay because we're going to be actually going into tactics of search.
I'm interested. That's what I want to see, man. So anyway, so everybody, peace, breakthrough, and divine increase. You're about to learn some incredible stuff. I can't wait to get the replay. Remember, I'm Dr. Stan Harris. Too blessed to be depressed. Too blessed to be stressed, too glad to be sad. I'm too anointed to be disappointed, too elated to be agitated, too legit to quit, too grounded to be confounded, too grateful to be hateful, too gifted to be restricted, too good to be withstood, and too saved not to be getting paid. Peace, breakthrough, and divine increase.
Love you. Thanks for coming on. Always good to hear you, Dr. Stan. All right, so Nick, you still there?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I love the studio, man. I love the studio, man. So, you know, what's really haunting is when you go live and you actually see your count go up based on the topic.
Wow.
I mean, that's just like, wow. Because we're streaming this on 6 Facebook channels and 2 YouTube channels. And what we do some experiments. We sometimes email people that we're going to be live, and we sometimes don't. Today was one of those we didn't, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you email people, and one of my mentors, I do have mentors, right? I have only, like, in a way, you're one of my mentors because you have 3 times as many subscribers as I do, but I still have more traffic than you. Okay? So what's up with that, right? You know how to get more people to say yes than I do. So we're mentors for each other. But I also understand a lot of the SEO and the tactics and things like that. What we need to do is put our heads together and figure this stuff out. The guys I'm mentored that I'm paying to teach me, they have like 150,000 subscribers, 13 million views. And Daryl, who's responsible for like 60 billion views. But I'm recommending everyone go get his book. You know, go get his book, because let me go show you my screen. Are you seeing my screen now, Nick?
Yep. Explore what the world is searching. Trends.
It hasn't changed. It's been Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian for weeks now. And the World Cup, right?
Right.
Healthcare is huge. Abortion, unemployment, immigration, and wages. That's what the world is concerned with right now. Okay? And joint session of Congress, the address will be on Wednesday, April 28th. I guess that was old. Then there's protests for racial equality, vaccine trends, NFL, Barcelona, Britney Spears, UFC stock. I guess the fighters went public. Do you know who this guy is? Jimmy Garoppolo? I didn't even know who he is.
No, I've seen the name before.
Yeah. But Britney Spears is very, very popular. I guess people are wanting to catch what she's doing. Okay, Kamala Harris, more trending searches, and you click here and it brings up more. And you could see the NFL, Barcelona, Aaron Rodgers, Europa League, mock draft, Britney Spears, Tim Tebow, Kamala Harris, UFC stock, Arsenal. I guess Jimmy Garoppolo is this again. It's all sports. Willie Nelson. I got to meet Willie Nelson when I lived in Hawaii. He has a little bar down in Paia. Great guy.
Wow.
He's oftentimes there hanging out in his own place. And you can just like walk up to him and just hang out. It's kind of cool. All right. So the president's wife, Jill Biden, is trending right now. 20,000 people in the last day have searched for her. So then you can click load more. All right. So I don't know. What the hell? Polyamorous is coming out there. Rudy Giuliani, Handmaid's Tale, Apple stock, Michael Collins, PSG, Elliot Page. Okay, so this is what people are searching for. So if you're wondering why you're not getting traffic, it's you're not really reaching the things and the topics that people care about. Bob, welcome. Hey, Bob. Bob, are you there? Can you speak? Hello, hello.
Hi there.
Hey, Bob. How long have you been here?
Half an hour.
Oh gosh, I didn't see you. I didn't see your thing pop up. So I guess we only have about 10 minutes left. How long can you stick around?
10 minutes.
Okay, Bob. So let me explain who we have in the house tonight. We have, if you look for the search engine optimization. Okay, when you compare search engine optimization against SEO, you can. Are you able to see that, Bob?
Yep.
So, in terms of popularity in the United States over the past 12 months, search engine optimization, which was coined by Bob, who is here tonight, compared to SEO, the three-letter acronym. You can see the comparison. So maybe you could speak a little bit about why is this? Why do human beings, why does the AI do it this way? Anything you want to comment about?
People love acronyms. They like AOC rather than, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They like SEC better than Security and Exchange Commission. The brain is wired to like short. By the way, Garoppolo is a quarterback for the 49ers, and it's Willie Nelson's birthday. That's why they're trending.
Okay, so Bob is the foremost expert in SEO in the world. I can say that. He can't say that. He's way too humble for it. But what I wanted to introduce all of you to is just this concept of search. And in 9 minutes, I'm now going to teach Bob how search has changed in the realm of YouTube and what I've discovered. Bob, you ready?
Okay, please go
Okay.
ahead.
So when SEO first got started, it was about repetition. So the more times you repeated a word, that influenced the relevance. Okay. These days, it's all about audience reaction. If something is a topic, like let's say a topic like SEO itself or YouTube SEO, if people are searching for something and you show them a video or a thumbnail and they react to it, in other words, YouTube will show your stuff. They're going to try it with a few people. Then they're going to measure the results. And if the results are good, then they're going to show it to more people. If the results from that are good, they're going to show it to more people and more people and more people. So it's in the beginning, almost like the Bible. In the beginning, it starts with your title and your thumbnail. And that's it. It's a graphic and it's your thumbnail. And so if you look at what works these days, they are controversial thumbnails, even ones that normally you would think, oh my gosh, I would be banned if I put that thumbnail out there. As long as you don't put those controversial concepts in a context that's misinformation. Okay? There is a big movement right now toward misinformation. If you are giving misinformation, especially if it goes against the popular narrative and people object to it, then that's going to cause problems. Okay. However, controversy is what causes attention. So Deepak Chopra did a very, very interesting thing recently. Bob, can you see my screen? I'm going to bring my screen up here.
Yeah.
Okay. So look at this video right here. It has 1.4 million views. I saw the original video that had about 20,000 views. Okay. I saw the original when they first aired it. And basically it was a conversation with this Indian mystic about the vaccines and all this kind of stuff. And he was asking Dr. Chopra, hey, what gives here? What should we do with the people of India? It was a real genuine interview. And there is a part where Deepak himself says that he does not believe that that's the problem. It's not going to solve the problem. We have to go back to a healthier lifestyle. We have to actually deal with topsoil issues. We have to deal with eating fresh vegetables that are grown locally. He was also encouraging that people in India do that. And then this guy in India said, well, we don't really have problems in India, except in 6 major cities where people are cloistered together. So when people go out into the country or into rural areas, there's no problem. What made this video go from like tens of thousands of views to now 1.4 million views was this simple technique. Bob, are you with me still?
Yep.
So watch this. And Nick, this is the technique. Now, okay, so let me show you what happens. In the first second, you're only seeing Deepak. I'm not going to put the audio. You can find it, okay? In the first 4 seconds, it now introduces this unknown person, okay? So there's a known person in the first 4 seconds. There's an unknown person in the following 4 seconds. Now watch what happens. Okay? By the 8th second, the unknown person is agreeing with what Deepak is saying. Okay? Now, in the 12th second, the unknown person, but the non-popular person, is now speaking about himself for 8 seconds. Okay? Okay.
Okay.
By the 20th second, we now have a trailer that passes the authority onto the unknown person. Like, Nick, have you heard of Deepak Chopra?
Of course, I've shared the stage with Tony Robbins when he was there at Master University. Yes.
Okay. Have you heard of Sadhguru?
No.
All right. So you see how Sadhguru's team leveraged Deepak?
Makes sense.
That's how search works today. It's all about transfer of authority and credibility using very specific artificial intelligence timelines that can be engineered with audience reaction. That's a mouthful of a statement. But the thing is, you can't fool these engines anymore. So let's talk about search triggers and how can search triggers be utilized in this new paradigm. So pick a topic, any topic, Bob. What would be a topic that you'd want to use search triggers on?
Jimmy Garofalo.
Jimmy Garofalo? Hey, Jimmy Garofalo. So I'm going to actually
quarterback for the 49ers, and the draft day is today, and they're probably going to draft a quarterback to replace him. So how about 49er quarterback?
Okay. So let's run that through search triggers, and I'm going to talk about a couple things. The first type of search that we run is going to be a comparison of Bing against Google, and you can see trade, contract, wife, stats, Twitter, news, injury, SNL. Apparently, it was on Saturday Night Live. Actually, no, that was Gene Garofalo. I guess that was his wife. Jimmy Garofalo. I'm going to gather some more data from here. Who is Jeannie Garofalo? Is that his wife? Bob?
No idea. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Well, in terms of page count, there are now 2.24 million. Is it Garapolo? Garapolo. Is it follow or polo?
Garofalo.
It's with a P. 49ers quarterback.
Yeah, Garofalo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that guy has 2.4 million pages on the internet about him. And I typed it in incorrectly. So the search engines, the AI basically says, no, we don't think you mean Garofalo with an F. It's P-P-O-L-O. Let's go now to YouTube. I'm going to spell his name correctly this time. Garo, G-A-R-O-P-P-O-L-O. Garofalo. And you can see what's trending is the contract. And there are now 27,000 videos on YouTube. Highlights, the word highlights, which is a niche term, okay, has 74,000. Madden 21, which I assume is a computer game. Let's go and see Patriots. Is he with the Patriots?
He was with the Patriots, and he got traded or released or whatever. Yeah, he got traded to the 49ers.
All right, so the niche, according to YouTube, that if I was making a video about him, I would center it around the computer game Madden 21, which is a popular Madden computer game, because apparently he's in that. There's only 4 videos, and yet it still has very, very high on the relevance score, right? Do you know who Aaron Andrews is, Bob?
No.
Okay. I guess he's a Fox Sports reporter.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Garofalo flirted with Aaron Andrews. Makes her blush. Okay. And see, now look at that. There's exactly what Nick was talking about, girls, right? 93,000 videos on that topic alone, right? I'm showing you this for a reason, because sensationalism, sensational content, which is captivating the senses, captivating controversy, that's what's interesting to people. If you don't capture that, I did not know that he was a porn star. Jimmy Garoppolo has gone from porn star to sideline reporter.
Okay, news to me.
Maybe Garoppolo. There might be two of them. Nick, you still there?
Yeah.
So everything in search triggers is all about identification of relevance. But let me explain the distinction in the light of the new YouTube algorithm. What you want to use search triggers for is figuring out the content or the topic. And the topic is based on what's trending and why. You want to have search triggers answer the question why. Okay? You want to go to Google Trends to see what's trending. You go to search triggers to get the answer why. And then once you know why it's popular, that's when you have to have your reaction or your own video around it. If you're not tailoring to what the public cares about why, then you're never going to succeed in getting enough people to watch your videos that you'll break through. I'm going to share with you a book. Other than the YouTube formula, there's only two books that I can recommend. Actually, there's three books I can recommend. Marketing by the Numbers by Bob Heyman. It's available on Amazon. Okay. This is the Bible when it comes to understanding marketing. And then this book right here, Hitmakers by Derek Thompson, essentially proves what we've been talking about tonight. The science of popularity in an age of distraction. You have to not just be the answer to the question people are asking, you have to be asking questions that are familiar to people. If you're asking questions that are unfamiliar to people, then they won't even care. Like, no one cares about search engine optimization, but everybody knows SEO. But most people don't know what SEO is. Only people who are caring about SEO would ask the question, what is SEO? And as soon as they ask, what is SEO, they're going to learn about Bob Heyman and Jefferson Starship. Bob, anything you want to add to that?
No, it's interesting how things change.
So where we've gone in search right now is that, like, let's say the band name, like the Doobie Brothers, it's important, but it's not as important as the song. And the song name is not even as important as the audience reaction to the content, right? And I almost feel sad that my video, I don't know if you remember this, but they did a beautiful unplugged charity thing the Doobies did, and it got like 2.5 million views. It was fantastic. I even showcased it on my channel. But right at the same time as they were winning the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame awards, right at the same time as they released these charitable things, right at the same time as they were unplugged, there was a surge of all the Doobie Brothers videos, mine included, and we were side by side in many, many of the YouTube searches. So we actually had a 40-fold increase on the views of our video when the band was doing things, right? So things move in movements. They move in trends, and you want to latch onto these trends that are happening And so I recommend that you don't have to necessarily watch the news, but you have to watch the trends. Bob, what are your thoughts? Did I kind of explain YouTube SEO to you in a way that you understand how YouTube operates now?
Yeah, sure.
What could you say would be the conclusion? It's no longer about repeating the number of words. It's not even about getting the word in the title. It's about getting the right topic. You've got to marry concept A with concept B, and it has to be something that people care about.
It's not just YouTube. All search now is finding out what people care about. I mean, basically, my old metaphor of being the answer to a question that people are asking.
So Tim Judd, a good friend of mine. Hey, good to see you, Tim. Interesting, but trying to figure out how it would be used for affiliate marketing that only cares about results and talking about the process or tools to be more than a snooze fest. I don't know how to answer that because how would you answer that, Bob? How would you answer that question?
What's the question again?
Tim says, interesting, but trying to figure out how it would be useful for affiliate marketing. And affiliate marketing only cares about results. Talking about the process or even the tools is a snooze fest. What do we do with that situation that if we actually teach how to do something, if we teach people what to do, we actually can back it up with proof. They don't care because they don't care. Nick cares because he's in the trenches. Are you with me still? Right?
Right.
Well, I mean, an example of affiliate is you would want yourself and your affiliates to rank as highly in search engines. I mean, you'd like you and your affiliates to be the top 5 listings, but you also want to be the top 5 listings for searches that are, trending. So if you don't know what's trending, you don't know what you or your affiliates should be ranked for.
Right. Nick, what's your thoughts on that? How would you answer that question?
Yeah, I think that you really have to be aware of what most people, by plugging into your search engine, like you said, just trying different combinations and see what comes up. And then, try a variation on that. If you're trying to do something with affiliates and help them with something you're marketing to upsell and to cross-sell, then they really have to have not only an awareness of obviously what you're selling and what your joint effort is, but then what is trending, so what are you going to use in those keywords in the very beginning, because that, like you said, is the key here. What is the verbal comments that come out of your mouth in that first 48 seconds, right? That's critical to get that search engine optimization and to really get Google and YouTube, obviously YouTube's owned by Google, and to really get the excitement and the momentum to get enough viewers, and then hopefully you get engagement where they're talking to you and you talk back to them every night. I answer back questions when people are commenting, so I'm trying to keep that spirit of noticeable engagement.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. And I think where we have the challenge is a lot of people don't. I guess, Tim, let me just really be blunt with you. Most affiliate marketers are lazy. It's just the truth, right? Most people are lazy. They don't want to do the work and they don't want to pay their dues. All of us here, we've paid our dues. Nick, you paid your dues before you became world champion in fitness. I paid my dues. Bob paid his dues, right? You've got to be willing to pay your dues. Wouldn't you agree that that's really, I think, what's missing from this whole conversation, Nick?
I looked up a statistic and I agree with you. There are like over 1 million new people posting a podcast episode, right?
Right.
But they only post one. I'm already up to, I don't know, episode 380, And when I first started doing YouTube videos, I was criticized. People were saying, "Oh, people are not going to watch those long, boring, interviews with doctors about, complex health issues, about ED, erectile dysfunction, about hormones, about estrogen dominance, about body weight, about thyroid." And I knew this is critical information, but it's a little hard to get a doctor to, kind of really make it interesting and engaging. But I went to, people like yourself, and I said, what do? I have all these hundreds of YouTube videos and they're unlisted. And this agency told me to delete them all. We don't need them. And I said, delete them all? And you said, no, just start posting them every day, one a day. And so I did that. And after the period of a year, I got 12,000 followers. And they were laughing at me. They were telling me I'm not going to have nothing. Well, now at least I'm at that first parallel where YouTube acknowledges you. Now I want to get to 25,000, then the next level. But I wasn't afraid, right, to be consistent, to really do it on a daily basis. And for a while, I was a little overwhelmed because I'm thinking, how do I do daily content? Then what I did was I started doing searches of other YouTube videos and reply. They used to kind of reward you a little more for that, but I reply to things that I knew people had questions about, or if they were wrong, I was about ready to reply on a subject, say, about, how do you get in great shape and ripped abs, right? And all these concepts and ideas and thoughts that mostly were wrong, some were right. And I would do like almost a 2-hour reply. And then I'd get my tech guy to go divide them up after I went live with that video to see how much engagement. And then we would come up with thumbnails and shorter. And we're trying to figure out, is it 2 minutes? Is it 5 minutes length? What's the length? And you're right. People will watch longer videos, but if you then repost them, people say, well, they already saw it. No, they didn't. They didn't watch an hour or 2 hours of content. And like you said, maybe your best was at the end. So take that best stuff, because you remember your interviews, you remember your content, and repost it. And I repurpose it on Spotify, iTunes, and then shorter little segments on Instagram Reel, 1 minute here, even a little TikTok. And, so each of these things, and Facebook, I'm just putting it out and then put a little ad spend there behind Facebook. And I'm just noticing gradually the brand awareness. People are starting to go, oh, okay, I know who this Dr. Nick Delgado is, okay? He's got this, belief, and he's always solid. He always says, this is what it is. There's no, oh, I think today I'm going to do keto. Oh, maybe I'll do plant-based. I know what you need to do to get in great shape. So, like you said, to break a world record, it didn't happen overnight. I was training every day against the world's strongest guys. And eventually I broke the world record for curls nonstop, 1,038 curls in 1 hour with 50 pounds, not taking breaks like this pull-up record guy, Goggins, who spent 24 hours to do pull-ups in sets. I wouldn't say anyone can do that. I'm starting to work on my pull-ups too, by the way. But, curl and press was a tough move. And I broke the all-time world record by curling and pressing, nonstop for an hour, 50,000 pounds. Who does that? Well, I would work. I'd go to the beach where I love, look at the pretty girls walking by, lift weights, stand in the ocean. And so my environment was right. My energy was right. I'm listening to great music and I was motivated. So you've got to find stuff you're passionate about and talk about it on YouTube. And don't be surprised. Some things people will diss, they won't like, they'll make comments. But when they make comments that are negative, I put a comment to them and say, what do you mean by that? I ask them, I want to smoke it out. And sometimes they're pissed about something else and I smoke it out and I've got a good engagement. There's no good and bad engagement on YouTube. All engagement's good so long as you engage them and talk. If it's stupid, then of course block it if it's some spam thing. But generally speaking, that's how you grow.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got about 2 days. Once you upload a video, you want to think of it, every video is its own entity. Okay. So each video has its own life. There's no problem with you uploading a video, seeing how it works. Like even Deepak did that with Sadhguru. And then they came back 2 weeks later and they took that one little section, stuck it in the beginning, uploaded it again, and it got 1.5 million views. Wow. Right. So because YouTube is built to, how can I say that? They give you feedback in 48 hours, right? When you upload a video on YouTube, you're going to get real-time feedback from YouTube about how well it's doing. And they're going to say your video is doing well or it's not doing so well. And so you can basically say, you know what? Okay, so I didn't get my point across in the first 10 seconds. I didn't get my point across in the first minute. Well, maybe something I said later is more relevant. Stick it in the beginning. Keep trying. There's no penalty. A lot of people are so careful when it comes to YouTube. Don't be caring when it comes to YouTube. I think caring, I think, is like the real message of SEO in 2021. Be caring of the search engines. They're not the enemy. There's no gaming them. You can't game them. You can't manipulate them. You have to work with them. And you know the best way to do it? Press releases. Bob, I keep going back to this, that the good old-fashioned press release, like the campaigns that you and I have run, where we take a bona fide press release and we send it out to print magazine editors and we get them to talk about us, still works better than any other form of promotion. You want to talk about that real quick? Because you have a press release company. I'm thinking we need to have you work with Nick.
It's a twofer, because if you get press, you get your marketing message out, which is the purpose of a press release. But it's a twofer in that you get, as long as you remember to put a link to your website or your landing page in the press release, and it gets picked up and repeated, you get link juice from Entrepreneur, Wall Street Journal, all these sites that have incredible, persistent link juice with search engines. So it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think about that, Nick? You ever done some recent press releases like about your book?
Not recent. And in the old days, we used to use a press release service, and we would get it out there. I remember I did this one little quarter-page article, and it was talking about my book, and it said that a healthy man could have and should have, during his sleep, about 7 erections during the night. And so some guy picked me up on his talk show. He was kind of like one of these Howard Stern guys, and he said, "What's this? You're the Italian stallion, you have 70 erections every night?" And there was a typo in the copy, and I said, "No." And then I just flowed with it. I said, "Yeah, I guess I do have 70 erections, and whatever." So we started talking about it. It was crazy, but people, they catch on to crazy stuff, and anything to do with love. And I noticed I'm a little careful, because I've noticed some of these porn stars, they have to be careful about what they say, because you will be, I think, limited on the reach if you use graphic words. So I use things like the word lovemaking instead of sex or whatever you have, right? So it seems to be, I had a little more challenge in publicizing my mastering love, sex, and intimacy. It's in the title.
Even though John Gray wrote the foreword.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and but more consistent when I wrote Blood Doesn't Lie, which solves all of COVID mystery and all the issues, because I've been looking at live blood for 43 years. I was Tony Robbins' life coach and examining blood and looking at every kind of lifestyle, diet, exercise, supplement, And so I got testimonies in the back of my book from Mark Victor Hansen, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Joseph Maroon, team physician for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Anil Bachnath, MD. He's got more initials after his name than you can imagine. So the whole idea is, when you're publicizing a book, you got to talk about the highlights. And I can't talk about the cure for COVID. I have to be very careful.
Yeah, exactly. You can't say that.
Right. So I have to say, what realistically is kind of like you said, Deepak kind of shrouded, he's an MD, but he was careful in saying, well, vaccines may not fully answer this. Here's something more important about microbes. And so in my newest book, Energy for Life, I'm getting into the whole microbes in the gut and estrogen dominance. But my earlier book, which did the best, was Acne Be Gone for Good, because so many kids have acne, and even young adults. And here I figured out the solution. But Facebook and Instagram, they don't like before after pictures.
No, they don't like that.
Anytime you're shaming people, or contrast, they don't want to show that. Yeah, so you got to be real careful when you're posting your ads or your articles. I don't know about press release. I think you can be a little bit more out there and exciting. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm bringing up here marketing by the numbers, because this is aside from the author being here, Bob understands these numbers. I love, we live and breathe this stuff. And what they're looking at is there is a dominant reality that most of the world is operating from. And let's face it, it's based on, going to your doctor, getting a checkup and things like that. And they don't want someone coming in here and just saying, if you literally have your own garden and you basically what Deepak was saying is you need to eat dirt, right?
Right.
And you can't really blame him for saying that. He's saying that there's problems with topsoil. There was even a movie on Netflix, major Netflix film about topsoil degradation in America. These are real issues, and we can't say, I'm not a doctor, but what he said that, okay, he's talking about India. Okay, the guy who he's talking to is in India, and they're not trying to solve the US problem. They're trying to solve, what do we do in India? And the guy in India says, we don't have much of a problem except in the cities. It's really bad in the cities. People who are actually poor people living off the land, literally eating the food that's growing around them, are not getting sick. And he says, well, we should all be looking at that. That's what he's kind of saying, right? And he's saying it in such a way that he's not making anybody else wrong. He's not saying you shouldn't go to your doctor, you shouldn't go get a vaccine, you shouldn't go do this. He said that's not enough, right? You might, that's your choice if you want to go do that. But what he is saying, it's not going to be enough in the long run. We got to look at this topsoil issue. We've got to go look at, like we can call a spade a spade. Amazon is now buying through Whole Foods locally grown vegetables, and you can actually get them, that are transported 10 miles away rather than in freezers, from foreign countries. That's a good thing, right? I think our overall health in America is improved because of companies like Whole Foods that are making breakthroughs in that for the mainstream. Wouldn't you say that, like, eating vegetables? I mean, if you want to take a health thing away from this, I would say eat fresh vegetables, but don't wash them thoroughly. You want to have a little bit of dirt. That's what Deepak's saying. That's what all the health experts are saying. You're a health expert. Isn't it important to eat dirt, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. The owner of Whole Foods, he was in the audience at John McDougall's event that I was doing, where John Mackey, by the way, he's the owner. And I did the most amazing talk, according to John McDougall, MD, that anyone's ever seen. The most amazing, entertaining talk about protein and food. And there's this one part where I was sampling something on the audience, and I dropped the food on the ground, quickly grabbed it and put it in my mouth and said, 3-second rule. Those microbes are friendly to the body. Yeah, and that being said,
Bob has to leave, so
yeah. So there's a really cool link I gave you about Carlin. If you look at that link I put in the private notes there, if you want to pull it up, the private chat. But the crazy George Carlin. I mean, he does this great talk about microbes, and they were in the sewage water and this and that when they were kids. They never worried about it. 527 views, and it's a cartoon. It's just great. You remember George Carlin, right?
Oh, I was a big fan of his.
Yeah.
I listened to him in elementary school, and I loved all of his swear words.
Yeah, he's one of the greats.
He was more than just swear words. He actually used them in a very clever way. So,
well, there's that guy JP now who's out there, and he's talking about very sensitive topics, but he's making fun, in a satirical manner. And he says, well, I'm going to do exactly what they tell me to do. I'm going to take the vaccine, and he's making these comments and faces and this and that. And it just, you think about it, human intelligence, to me, comic relief is the greatest form of human intelligence short of sexual energy. I mean, you take comedy, laughter, and love, and these things together. These are high level emotions that help people to deal with horrific things that are going on right now. So And if you're in the cancer culture and they're canceling everything we're doing, but if you do it in a way, believe it or not, these spiders can't seem to detect satire. They don't get it. And so
Right.
you're able to slip stuff through and act like, okay, I'm agreeing to this mandatory vaccines. Like, really? And you can do fun things with it, because we got to get the truth out there, guys, and at the same time do it satirically during this cancel society. I mean, when I wrote the book Blood Doesn't Lie, I mean, that was 43 years of work of looking under a high-powered microscope and studying people's blood. And Tony Robbins invited me himself, and I did the work on not just him and his family, but all of his attendees. So, I saw the best of the best and the greatest of the greatest, the CEO of Sony Corporation, all these great people. And we built this country on freedom of speech and really getting out there and teaching and making mistakes and trying new things. So, the reality is when you stick to one narrative, it's very challenging, because the young people coming up, they don't know. It's kind of like in American history, they used to leave out certain areas that now we look at, we go, oh, that actually did happen, right? So, but they call it all fake news right now, but we know what's going on. So I think you got to kind of shroud what you're doing carefully, but, just put on that smile and put out that energy. Otherwise, we're done as a society.
Well, it's interesting you say that. What I want to do is talk about this comment that came through, and thank you, Tim, for commenting on that. I sort of made this event because I wanted to teach people search triggers, and I also wanted to give validation to that search triggers does work in the realm of YouTube videos, not just because we want to sell the software, but because we actually want the 2,600 people who've already registered for search triggers to actually use it. But the problem is most people are not using the tool because there really is no how-to guide, because it's not real. I mean, this is it, right? What we're doing here right now is the how-to guide. And what Tim says, for social, it seems the trend is less about giving fair voice to dissenting opinions, even if backed with proof. So proof doesn't even matter, right? And the AI of YouTube, the AI of Facebook, and all these big artificial intelligence companies, they're trying to solve a very, very simple problem. And Nick, pay attention to this. This is going to be a breakthrough, hopefully, for you. They put into this algorithm, they say, what video should I show next? That's the only question they care about. What video should I show next? And should I interrupt them? Are they getting bored? Should I show them something else? That's it. How do we keep their attention on YouTube so they don't go to Facebook? It really is like that. And Facebook is, how do I keep my attention on Facebook so they don't go to YouTube? They're both for-profit companies that make their money by advertising based on eyeballs that are monetized, okay? But guess what? I'm in that game, right? I get paid by YouTube when my audience doesn't just watch my content, but when they watch my sponsors and actually click through on their offer or are actually interested in their offer. I get nothing if they're not interested. So my job as a content creator is to create content for an audience. It all comes down to audience development. And it also comes down to saying no, right? If you can't handle the truth, then this channel is not for you. And you got to be willing to say that. And there is no such thing as the truth. On this channel, Mr. Hatman, we don't think that there is such a thing as truth. It's all probability. It's all opinion. And it is what's true for one person may not be true for another one. There is no such thing as an absolute truth. That's something philosophers have been debating for tens of thousands of years. It's all relevant. It's all based on relevance. It's all based on relativity. Okay. That's what we stand for on this channel. I believe if you take and consume the books that Dr. Nick has written, in my experience, I feel healthier. I'm slimmer. I have more energy since I met Dr. Nick, and he changed my life in terms of what I ate and what I do and how I operate in the world, right? And other people like Deepak that I've known. But I really say hats off to Deepak for having the courage to tell us to eat and address the topsoil issue, because I think that's the missing link. If we had better topsoil, we can handle a virus if we get it. If we're basically eating white bread that comes from fast foods, doesn't matter whether there's a pandemic or whether you're just getting a common cold, you're going to get sick. Right? Wouldn't you agree?
Well, there's a Dr. Zach Bush out of Hawaii, and he talks about the whole issue with the glycosides and these herbicides in Roundup, and how it's really destroying the gut health. So even if you get the microbes on the topsoil, you're getting a partial story. You really, and I used to kind of go, well, it's nice to be organic, but not all that important. Now I'm convinced that these GMOs and these, herbicides that tend to get into the gut, it's a one cell lining, and it destroys, and there's going to be higher levels of autoimmune diseases. All these people that are opting to do the, and think that this V shot's going to somehow protect them, they're so sorely mistaken. I mean, when I spent 44 years looking under a microscope at people's blood, and I literally just took a drop of my own blood, and because I have to set these samples under the microscope to show people, you remember that talk show? It used to be years ago called Mr. Wizard, and he used to do these experiments, kind of like that Mark guy that's doing experiments on YouTube and getting millions of views. But you do this example for people to see, because seeing is believing, and that's why Tony fell in love with this work I was doing with live blood analysis. And it's kind of a lost art that I've trained some doctors. And if you can see in the corner of the screen here, I usually use my OBS, and I have a camera I can switch around. But here, maybe I can see. But you can see the corner of my screen here, right there. But that's my actual live blood there. And what I've looked at is, when I'm looking at people's health, I'm wondering, are they eating more plant-based, oil-free, sugar-free foods? And people say, well, wait a minute, keto's the big thing right now. Really? So you look at that.
Yeah, you remember I told you that. I told you that keto, of all the videos, that, just so you know, going back on with my search triggers hat on, I analyzed your channel, and you were like, just, you were at the 800,000 view mark on your channel. And I told you that keto is the hot thing right now. Right. And all we had to do was take your top keto videos and tweak them a little bit. Bam, you hit 1 million like in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And you're right, because, I took a subject that was trending, and whether I'm for or against keto, I would make some logical, scientific comments about it. Well, these guys,
popular. That's what people care about, because they think that's the panacea.
Well, yeah, and when you tell people to eat what they already want to eat, more meat, cheese, eggs, and dairy product, and then you get these fake studies for the last 5 years by meat and dairy, releasing, saying cholesterol safe, don't worry about it, they're wrong, it's okay to eat as much cholesterol and fat and eggs as you want. I mean, people believe that because this is the medical establishment and the studies that come out, but they didn't look at the tons of studies that confirmed and verified angiogram studies showing that when I looked under a microscope, why I had my first stroke when I was only 21 years old. John McDougall himself, same thing for him. He was an animal-based guy like I was. I was trying to play football. I wanted to play middle linebacker for the Miami Dolphins.
Cheeseburgers?
All the time, like Nick Bonaconti. I'd ate steak and 12 egg omelets, with Velveeta cheese, because I like the cheese in there with that taste. And I would eat this shit every day. And one day I ballooned up to 220 pounds. I was playing linebacker. I had a scholarship to play for UCLA and BYU, Brigham Young University. Wow. And I ended up going to USC. I got a scholastic scholarship. But personally, I had a stroke during the Turkey Bowl. I was playing football and I fell to the ground and my arteries were clogged up. Not only were my arteries to my brain clogged up, but to my male organ. And I was married at the time and I was starting to notice having difficulty. And I'm like, I'm only 21. And so it all came together where I had high blood pressure. I was overweight. I had this stroke. And so I started learning about live blood analysis and looking under a microscope to see how blood got restricted from too much triglycerides, how arteries got clogged. And so I went on this whole odyssey to learn. And then later I learned about hormones after the mother of my 28-year-old, when she died after Thanksgiving due to congestive heart failure related to autoimmune disease, a hyperthyroidism, which now we know all these people getting these shots are going to have autoimmune diseases. It gets back to the gut. So you're right. You've got to know health is not just a simple little variable. If you're going to live, and my next goal is to not break world records. I've already broken the world strength endurance records, even though I'm not a guy, as you know, that's big. I don't look strong. I do amazing things athletically, but my goal is to break the world record for healthy aging. So when I reach the oldest lived individual, right now there's about 300,000 people past the age of 100. But when they reach 111, they drop off like flies. People die quickly. I mean, there's hardly anyone living. There's only, I think, 5 people who have lived in all of human history out of 400 billion people past the age of 117. Did you know that? Only 5 in the whole world. So you look at it, the oldest living person in history was Jean Calumet out of Paris, who lived to 123 in a few days. And, she didn't follow a healthy lifestyle. So what is it? Some people have genetics, some are going to live longer, but it's miserable. So when I say I'm going to break the world record for aging, I add the word healthy aging. It's not good to end up in a wheelchair and drooling like Jean Calumet and die of dehydration in a care center. It's key that you can make love on your 124th birthday, which is my goal, and to be so healthy that it's broadcasted on national television, because if TV exists by then, because no one can do that.
Right. I have a question for you. It's about this cancel culture. I don't even understand what cancel culture is. What is this cancel culture, though? We have a question here about that.
Well, there's a fear that the truth will get out. And if enough scientists and educators and people like myself say that, wait a minute, the number of people who died from the flu 2 years ago, 4 years ago, now it's near zero, and they've taken it and swapped it over to a different disease we call COVID. So now we're all worried about this disease that supposedly, and by the way, the number of people dying past the age of 78 from all causes of death has not increased this year due to COVID or any known cause compared to 5 years ago. So life expectancy and lifespan are two different things, but the reality is there is no increased pandemic. There are people dying of comorbidity, but they don't want you to hear this, so they cancel their search spiders that literally look on all of social media, all of YouTube, all of Facebook, and if they pick up the words I'm saying, and of course I don't believe anything I just said, right? All right, I don't believe anything I just said, but if they were to say this, then the narrative is disrupted and the world continues in a direction they want them to do, to amass more profit for us, an experiment to I shouldn't say to use the word, to V-shot more than any history. They're using something that's never been used, an mRNA I won't use the word, but they're using this and thinking that's going to protect the world population. How in the world? But that's, of course, called fake news, isn't it? And then they have these fact checks, and they go on.
Let me read this question. Can you see that question came in?
Yeah.
Can you maybe read that?
What are your thoughts on the volatility of dependence on the platform that can pull the plug at any time? And as it relates to AI, is actively looking for things to label as fake news or misinformation simply because it doesn't follow the current guidelines that keep changing. My thoughts? This is what you can do with your culture. You can just shove it up, right? because you know what? I came from a culture that we talked openly, and it may not be what the narrative wanted to be heard,
Yeah.
but that's how we stopped the Vietnam War. That's how we made changes. And now you got CCP on our back who bought all the media. So we're pretty much, it's tough.
Wow. Well, okay. So the opinions presented in this broadcast are not of the channel. What we're trying to do is actually talk about the fine line between being controversial and also having people like your videos. And I don't think that the algorithm is per se, as many people believe, I don't think the algorithm is per se going in and looking for keywords anymore. I think they're more interested in audience reaction to the content. And whether it's favorable or unfavorable, whether it's backed by proof, whether it's just fake news, because there's a statistic, and I don't know if you know this, Nick, but that it was released that fake news from an advertiser's perspective made more money for advertisers than real news.
Wow.
Even on YouTube and other platforms, there were fake videos that were monetized, and they made more money than all the authentic, bona fide, what we normally consider the news. I get my news from John Oliver, so I'm a big John Oliver fan. So I
By the way, if you look at healthvideos.net, I have a platform that I share where Alex Jones is, so they can't cancel me. They will have to do this to be able to cancel me. It ain't going to happen. So
right.
I'm going that direction because I don't trust them. And eventually I want us to gravitate over to platforms like I'm using. And you can find healthvideos.net. Look me up because I've got to do a session with my son's teacher here. He's 12 years old.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's
my
right.
oldest son is 42, and I have 3 grandchildren now and 5 kids. But I'm a big family man. I'm a guy for human rights. And if you look up fromthedoctors.com, you're going to see some pretty amazing content that we cross-link to our new video site, like I said, that cannot be canceled, fromthedoctors.com. So, I'm proud of the work we've done, but the work is just beginning. So, that's kind of where it's at, right? Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I really am grateful for you being here, and we're gonna end the broadcast here soon. But I just wanted to wrap it up here. What are the top 3 things that you learned from today? Both the conversation we had before with your tech guys, just to summarize and put a bow on what should people do if they want to get their message out on YouTube.
Yeah, I think maybe pull it up on that computer. I think that the key here is to simply use that first 48 seconds, get attention, use verbal words that are highly trending, maybe take a look at your search triggers and find out what is trending, and then make sure you mention those words in the beginning, but be consistent with your content that you're going to cover that topic as well. And you got a good chance, but take a little time to have a creative, good thumbnail. That's really important with your content. And it's okay to be long content, because really people who stay on longer, I know there's this belief that people have the kind of the attention span of a goldfish, but the ones who stay in longer are going to be more likely, if you will, to stick with you and to be, fans and, all the important things that I think are so important in this day and age, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was actually talking with one of my colleagues, and he pointed out to me he was the person who refuted that study.
Grab my laptop from the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that study that was the goldfish story is actually now been refuted, and he pointed out to me that he was the person that caused that refutation. He found out that there never was such a study that was ever done.
Wow.
Microsoft never did do a study like that. This was just a bunch of opinions that went viral through various blog posts and websites. And there's a bunch of websites now that I've found recently that have now changed. How did this fake news get out there? And so the goldfish story or the goldfish study about the 8 seconds attention span, how did that false information go viral that now people even accept it as bona fide fact? I think it's actually less than that. We actually have about 1/7 of a second to capture someone's attention.
Oh, wow.
So that means you have to have a logo, you have to have a brand, you have to have something that's going to say, you know what? Oh, yeah, I know what that is. And so that's what we're doing with Mr. Hatman, is that little symbol from the 60s of the smiley face wearing a cowboy hat. In 1/7 of a second, you'll be able to recognize that.
Yeah.
In 1/7 of a second, you can recognize that. So my super fan, Selena, thank you so much for sticking with us. And she says, enjoyed learning from you, Dr. Nick. Well,
thank you much.
Nick, let's do this again, maybe with Jordan on the line, because I want to actually talk about Reddit. We just added Reddit to search triggers, and the results are through the roof. So if you haven't yet picked up search triggers, head on over to searchtriggers.com. We still are running a free trial, but we're thinking of taking it down. I want to finish a story. A friend of mine in Hawaii, Nick, I don't remember. Do you remember that those ads? I think it was in the 90s, early 90s. Click this banner and we'll speed up your windows. Do you remember that?
Yeah, here, Danny's going to take over because I'm on another session with my son right now. I got to run, but
all right, Danny. Well,
Danny,
Danny,
step in here, Danny, step in. You're on the show.
Well, you got to connect.
Okay, I got it.
What do you want to see?
Just listen to him. He's asking you a question.
Hey, Victor.
Hey, Danny.
Hi,
How you doing? Long time.
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah,
so
me too.
this is the man that is working with search triggers that caused the breakthrough in
Hello?
Dr. Nick's chat in his channel. How are you doing, Danny?
Yeah, not bad. Just trying to help Nick out and connecting to the Zoom and stuff.
So you've been using search triggers for almost a year now, a little bit longer, right?
I don't believe so. Have you used search triggers? In what, in YouTube?
Yeah. Have you used it? The YouTube
No,
functions, the new
no.
YouTube functions?
No, we've been using the, what's the name, YouTube. I know you recommended some other tool for us, third-party tool to YouTube.
Well, we now have actually added YouTube into search triggers. Let me show you what we've done.
Yeah, no, we have not used that for sure because it doesn't seem familiar to me. But YouTube Buddy or something like that.
Oh, TubeBuddy, yes.
Yeah, TubeBuddy. Here you go.
Yeah, so we use TubeBuddy, but what we use is we come up with topics with search triggers because TubeBuddy doesn't have all the data that we do. So
Okay.
let me show you this.
Yeah, sure.
Are you seeing my screen here?
Yep.
All right. So if I go into search triggers and I'm just going to click log in and I get right in there and I'm going to log into search triggers. What you want to do is you want to click down here where it says where to search.
Okay.
Okay. You want to go down here to YouTube. And so like what we want to do, like, let's say, for example, keto. That's a very, very popular trending term right now. And when we run that search on keto with the keto diet,
okay,
it's now going to show you a parallel between Google relevance and YouTube relevance. And you can actually sort by the YouTube relevance, and you can see keto diet for beginners is the #1 trending phrase right now.
okay.
Right? Keto diet recipes, and then there's bread, right? So now if I take this and I run this again, we'll get a longer tail for keto diet for beginners. And again, we sort by YouTube relevance. Now, when you combine keto diet for beginners and recipes together, you're only competing with 50 videos, and you're looking for something that's trending both in Google and YouTube.
Okay,
and so now this would be a perfect video.
So whatever below 100 videos is usually good for us to use, right? Because anything more than 100 probably is too competitive.
it's too competitive, and you probably will just beat your
Yeah,
head against it.
we'll get lost there. Yep.
But what we've been telling people to do is don't not do it, right? You want to use search triggers for coming up with the topic. Don't worry so much about the specific content or the specific title anymore. Focus on the topic and make your videos around that topic. So keto diet for beginners recipes is a killer topic.
Okay.
And I wanted to pass that on to Nick because if he could just do a few recipes, I mean, it would go through the roof. This is what people want. You know, they're cooking. They have more time because they're at home.
Yeah,
So,
sorry, Victor. 1 second. What happened?
Yep.
This is. Yeah. So, yeah. No, I got the premise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it helps a lot. Did Nick purchase that? Do we have that? Because we never use it. I never use it personally.
Yeah, you've used search triggers.
Have I? No, I haven't used it. Maybe Nick has.
Oh, Nick has it. Yeah. Didn't you use search triggers for a year ago, 2 years ago?
I don't believe so. No, doesn't ring a bell to me. Maybe
Oh,
I used something similar or someone else used it.
It was another. Yeah, it was someone else on the team.
Yeah, probably not me. Yeah. Okay. But do we have access? Yeah, it looks like it's pretty useful actually. Because Nick is not going to do keto, but he might do something for plant-based vegan diet.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, you want to target the trending phrase. Do you do the editing on the video?
Yeah, I do editing. Yeah, I do optimization for the YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. Let me show you this one video. Watch this. This is the one that, I don't know, did you see us do this earlier?
No, I have not.
Okay. So this is a video that the original had like tens of thousands of views. And what I was explaining is the process of, in the editing room, of how we went from, how these guys, not we, because I'm not part of their team, but I studied what they did. I muted the audio. But here's Deepak talking. It opens with a cut of Deepak, which everyone recognizes his face, right? In a seventh of a second, people recognize, oh, I know that guy. I trust that guy.
And they'll start watching, yeah.
Right? So now watch what happens. When you hit the play button, he's talking, he's gesticulating with his hands. Okay, in 2 seconds, it cuts in the 4th second, they bring in his co-host. You see that? Everyone recognizes Deepak, and then they bring in the other person.
Yeah.
So if you're doing like a video with Tony Robbins, right?
You want to bring Tony Robbins first.
Tony Robbins comes up first.
Yeah.
Okay? 4 seconds later, you bring in Nick. Okay? Now watch what happens. The two of them are talking together, and all he's doing is acknowledging and agreeing. Acknowledging, agreeing. Acknowledging, agreeing. Right? Now watch. At that point, the 8th second, there's human communication going on here. Deepak is smiling, and there is a transfer of authority over to the guy on the right. Now watch what happens. See, he's smiling, he's gesticulating, and then now they cut to him, and the camera stays on him for about 6 seconds. Watch this. Okay, notice he raised his hand. The last scene before he did that was he raised his hand. You see that? What I was saying is that you have to show the hands in the video, and you have to end with a hand gesture. That was my first secret. You see that right there?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
This is more for Nick to learn how to do his videos. Yeah, I'll just edit accordingly.
Yeah, you can take his existing content and make it work this way. But then what happens, now watch this. He moves into a 10-second promo video that shows how much of an authority he is. Now watch this. You know, there he is driving in a boat. He's standing on stage. And now you go, wow, this guy Sadhguru, he's a big dude, right? He's actually maybe even bigger Then Deepak, Mystics of India,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they bring in the logo and they bring in the brand. And then look, for the next 40 seconds, now they're giving gratitude and they have a little bit of a pitch. They bring in their sponsors. I'm watching the timeline, okay? They bring in a brand that's familiar. And so now me, the watcher, is going, wow, this isn't just, you know, Deepak in his home, you know, with some sort of weird little thing. This is a real video. I'm going to keep watching because they brought in the brand. At the 50-minute mark, they actually go to black. 50-second mark, they go to black. Now they're bringing back the guy that you saw before the animation, and you go, wow, okay, I'm going to listen to what he has to say. But look, right at the 1 minute mark, they're going to bring Deepak back in. Watch how this happens. Maybe it's a few seconds afterwards. He's basically now saying his core message. Now, what's really funny is his earlier video that didn't do so well on YouTube began with this core message that he started with.
Okay, so they re-edit that whole thing?
They re-edited the whole thing, and now it has 1.5 million views.
Nice.
And so he was basically rambling
Mm-hmm.
up until minute 24, where he brings in his co-host Deepak.
Okay.
Right? So what the algorithm did is it took everything I've been teaching you today is all about you have to catch someone's attention. 7 seconds is not even true. It's 1/7 of a second.
Wow.
In 1/7 of a second, you can see that there is a smiling person. There is a face that you recognize. And now you have two smiling people together. And it makes you feel like, okay, I can trust this.
Yep.
Your goal in YouTube is to break the 2-minute mark. And you'll see that they did that. That's why they have 1.4 million views on this video. Okay?
Yep.
And you see what's happening. Deepak is listening and this guy is talking. You see how the authority transfers?
Yeah, now people start listening as well.
Because that was the original recording. The original interview was him talking, right? Then it cuts to Deepak. And like most people, then they go back and forth between Deepak, non-Deepak, Deepak, non-Deepak. But see, where they noticed the audience retention happened at the 5-minute mark, right? So all they did was they took the key point where the audience said, wow, I had no idea, right? And they grabbed that little section and they put it right in the beginning. And you see also his hands are moving, right? That 4 seconds is what made this video get 1.4 million views.
Okay.
And if I go back to their channel and I look at their videos and I look at their other videos,
Yeah. So
9,000,
10K,
10,000, 34,000, 4.2, 28, 35K. It's commendable, but they have 1.2 million subscribers. But look, they didn't get 1 million views except for that video. Let me go find it. Wait, what was it? 1.4? There it is. See that? And look at how controversial his thumbnail is. You see that?
Why the COVID vaccine might not work. Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Right?
that's good. That's good thumbnail too, to bring traffic.
So I'm studying this guy's channel and I'm going, okay, what is he doing right? And I don't even know. Maybe it was just a fluke. But that's it right there. You see that? All of his other videos without that symbol of Deepak don't have as much of an impact. You see that?
Yeah.
So if you have something in the vault with Nick and Tony Robbins or all these influential people, all you got to do is re-edit it and it's going to go crazy, man.
Yeah, I see the book behind you. So the formula is right there. Are you getting all the formulas from that book? Because it sounds like this is a good formula to follow. You see the book next to you?
Yeah. Let me talk about that.
YouTube formula.
Let me explain the history of the YouTube formula. Daryl Eves has been publishing on his YouTube channel the secrets of YouTube for several years. Okay, I've been following him for years. I finally met him on the Marketers Cruise 2 years ago. I've been teaching YouTube strategy for about 8 years.
Yeah.
I created my own course called Tube Relevance, How to Generate Your First Million Views Without a Lot of Effort. And then I was focusing on SEO, search engine optimization, because I believed incorrectly that the title was all important. Well, it was all important in 2012, from 2012 up until 2016. Titles and keywords and tags were very, very important. Well, the new algorithm operates through artificial intelligence, and it's not as important the exact words that you use. What's important is audience reaction and who your audience is and your engagement on all these other factors. So you need to also have the SEO, but your SEO has to exist inside of your speech. Okay? It has to exist inside of your speech. So what you say has to be present in your mouth. You have to actually speak it. It has to appear in the beginning of your video, and it has to also be presented in such a way that more and more people will do that. Well, this book just came out, and it was such a relief because for the first time, someone put a book out that I agree with every single concept in the book, but his book is all the things that I didn't think could be even documented. Because like search and search engine optimization and search triggers, you can follow a process and you can get results with it very, very quickly. But what he was talking about was audience development. How do you engage your audience? How do you build culture on your channel? And we already know that Nick has culture on his channel, right? Nick has culture on his channel. And what he is doing is trying to get more eyeballs on his videos. But I think what's happening is he doesn't get to the point until by the time when most people leave. You see that? You see what I mean by that?
That's right, yeah.
Because he goes so much into his story.
The other thing is he doesn't always come up with the trending topics. He doesn't do researches like that, like use search trigger stuff. That sounds like a very useful tool for us. We can type plant-based and find out what's trending, and he can talk about that.
Yeah, one of the people on your team has the tool. I know you guys bought it from us 2 years ago.
I'll take a look. I never use it. We might have it. I just never use it.
Yeah. So someone else on your team was using it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Probably Jordan, maybe. Yeah.
And today was kind of a training to teach you how to use it.
Yeah.
Because what we're realizing is search triggers is still valid today, but what's very, very important is coming up with the topic of your video. And the most useful part of it,
the present itself,
is figuring out how many other people have made videos on that same topic.
Okay.
Right? So if I talk about Sadhguru and Deepak predict the future after vaccine. So if I type in future after vaccine on YouTube and I run that as a trend, I want to see how many other videos.
Okay. 2 videos on YouTube.
And you see, look at that. There's only 2 videos with future after vaccines, and the one that I showed you is right inside of search triggers. You see that?
Yeah.
Right? So he basically created a video that a lot of people are concerned. Like, you see the length. Let me explain how this works, okay? His title is Future After Vaccines. The YouTube relevance score is the long bar, okay? What you want to do is come up with a topic for your video that has a very, very long bar, but this page count number is very low and it has a green light. It's that simple. Does that make sense, Danny?
Yeah. So yeah, so this is a good example there, right? It has to be low. I mean, it has
so
to
if I
be
just type in the word
relevant.
vaccine on YouTube,
Yeah, that's
right?
probably too saturated. Yeah. Yep, 2 million. That's too much.
2 million videos on YouTube about the vaccine. So anyone who feels like, oh my God, the vaccine, you know, they're going to boycott, they're going to shut down my channel. But no, come on. There are 2 million videos about the COVID vaccine.
That's what I told Nick.
147,000 videos on there.
Yeah, Nick's been paranoid about that. I told him it's.
Don't worry about it.
Yep, exactly.
Right? Look at this one. If you like, look at this one. This is a trending phrase. You go to YouTube relevance. Right? There's a vaccine song, vaccine reaction, vaccine news, vaccine efficacy explored. Right? You want to basically.
Oh, the vaccine California looks good. Oh no, there's 36.
Well, California has the lowest.
Yeah, it's not relevant on YouTube yet. I don't see that bar.
You see that right there? Anything with a green light is something you could make a video about.
Okay.
Now, let me dispel a rumor, okay? Everybody, all these 346 people, if they were talking about side effects of the vaccine, they wouldn't exist on YouTube if there was like some conspiracy that all of a sudden those videos were taken down. Right? Latest news, 142,000 videos, okay, on that song, on that topic.
Yeah.
153,000 videos. What you don't want to be is you don't want to be just another one of those videos and even compete with these guys because it's way too much competition. There are way too many people talking about the vaccine. Oh my God. All right, what would you talk about? Vaccine tracker, vaccine finder, vaccine California.
Kind of long tails, yeah.
Long tails, right? So let's forget about the vaccine for now. Let's talk about topsoil, which is what Deepak was talking about. You know, let's talk about topsoil. Topsoil near me. Topsoil delivery. Okay, so that's what people care about. Soca, I don't even know what that is. Topsoil for grass. Okay. 265 videos. Okay, that's a green light, right? If you really want to make a video, talk about topsoil for grass. Where can I go buy some topsoil for my grass? Okay. A lot of people try to complicate. I think they think people are too smart. They're really not. Most people, they go to YouTube and they want to get an answer to a simple problem that they have, which is like how to. Have you seen this one? How to. If you type in search triggers, you type in how to, it's still going to say how to tie a tie, how to solve a Rubik's Cube, how to take a screenshot, right?
Yeah.
Number one on YouTube is how to tie a tie. And there are 1.45 million views. Right?
Neymar Jr. at Fortnite. That's funny.
How to get Neymar Jr. in Fortnite. I don't even know what that is. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's a soccer player. That's the son of the soccer player, Neymar Jr.
How to gleek with your tongue. Do you know what that is?
Nope. How to lose weight fast. All right, that makes sense. How to do the Instagram.
How to make slime. How to save a life.
Yeah. No, I get it.
People are not
It's very cool.
out.
We can go with acne, weight loss, plant-based, immune system. There's so many things we can
So
go
we
on.
can do how to lose weight fast. Let me run that one again.
Yeah, that's too saturated, but we can find something.
Let me find a niche.
Yep.
Like, look, number one trending, how to lose weight fast for teenagers.
Yeah, Yeah, it's
How to lose, okay, exercise at home. Let's look at that one. We're still very, very, very competition. Let's go grab the blue ones. Let me go see here. Look at that.
all right. Naturally, that sounds fun. How to
Yeah.
lose weight
How to
naturally.
lose weight fast naturally. That would be a video I would recommend for Nick. Right? How to lose weight fast without exercise in a month. Only 6 videos on that topic. Okay. Let's look at that. How to lose weight fast without exercise has 600,000 videos. How to lose weight fast with exercise has 300,000 videos. And they're both trending, right? But teenagers are a huge market. You see that? That is the #1 audience. You see that right there?
Yep.
Exercise at home, without exercise, 4 kids with exercise in 1 day, and workout in 2 weeks is trending in Google, but it's not trending in YouTube. This thing called metformin, right? And optativa, I don't even know what that is. Naturally is good, but it's not trending on YouTube, so you're not going to get a lot of visitors from it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I would focus on teens, I would focus on home, and I would focus on kids, and I would focus on with and without exercise.
All right. Yeah, I'll play around today. I need to ask. Nick has a login and password, right? The search triggers.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll ask him.
Cool.
All right. Sounds good, Victor. Thank you.
Okay, I'll let you get back to work.
Yeah,
And
I gotta get things done. Yeah, I think he's still downstairs. He's talking to his son's teacher.
okay.
All right. Awesome. Thanks. Good seeing you.
Awesome.
Victor.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye now.
All right. Take care.
All right, so there you have it. We've dispelled the myths. We've dispelled the, you know what? Just make videos. Make videos that people on YouTube want to watch. Don't be super careful. No one's going to really, beat you on the head with a stick. But be authentic, be real, be caring. Be caring with not just the, let's just call a spade a spade. It drives me crazy when I see these people trying to manipulate Google SEO. They've given SEO a bad name. They don't even know what SEO is. Okay. They think it has to do with backlinks. They think it has to do with gaming the system. They think that there even is a top 10 in Google. There is no top 10 in Google. It's relative to the person. Okay. Make videos and start off by talking about topsoil for grass. Actually, I would say go to YouTube Trends and find something that people care about. And then find how you can spin what people care about into your business. Okay? I have this book, YouTube Formula, here for a reason. That is a prerequisite to working with me. I'm actually saying, I said this the other day. I was thinking that there is an emerging trend. I'm going to make a prediction here. There is an emerging trend that sellers will be selective about promoting products to people who have not met certain criteria. We have had this indoctrinated belief probably since the 20s that the customer is always right and that you can buy anything anywhere. It's just a matter of price. My challenge to all of you who are watching this right now is qualify your buyers. Don't just sell something to someone because you want the money. Sell it to them if and only if they've proven themselves to be worthy of the product that you're promoting. Think about that. One of my mentors. His name is also Vic. I went to his $3,500 mastermind a number of years ago, and I'm a huge fan of his. And I just found his videos from 8 years ago on digital marketing, including some of the ones on YouTube. And the beauty of it is his videos, I watched them the other day and I said, man, this guy was a master. He was such a master. He put out programs where he was teaching this great marketing information that everybody else was charging for. And he did so for 2 solid weeks during a launch. People were like, where do I buy? I can't find the link. He says, product's not available yet. You can't buy anything yet. Just come back tomorrow and keep watching. Come back tomorrow, just keep watching. That was his mantra. He just kept teaching and teaching and teaching. And people were going, oh my God, this is like better than the stuff that I paid $2,000 for last year. This is better than that stuff. And he just kept teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching. And there was not even a link. There was no place to buy. And when it finally came time to buy, I remember because Scott and I were promoting him on Facebook, and we made a 10-fold ROI, 10 times our ad spend on Facebook on that product launch. My only regret is I didn't spend more money. I wish I'd spent more. I mean, it was crazy. I was thinking way too small. I was willing to spend, for lack of a better word, I think it was something like $500 on ads. And in just warming up the audience, and when it came time to buy, we made 10 times our advertising money back. And then the launch was over, and it was crazy, but it was stuck in my mind. I said, God, what if I had spent $50,000 on ads? Would I have made $500,000? And there were people that did that. They spent $50,000 on ads and made $500,000. You guys are thinking too small. And by virtue of how many people show up to these live broadcasts, what we're doing is we've actually trained the algorithm so accurately that the same people keep showing up here live. And then over the next 24 hours, 48 hours, more and more people come and watch our videos. And on average, it's like what we used to do is we used to email people, and we would go on Zoom, and then we'd have to send people a replay. Now we don't email anybody. People show up live. We don't email anyone. We allow the algorithm to do its magic. That's why I'm wearing this t-shirt called the Magic Castle. What we're doing right now, how would I spin unemployment into easy one-up? Well, ask search triggers. Let's do it. Type in unemployment. Okay. Now, Google obviously sees I'm in California. Look at the distinction between Google and in terms of its relevant. Unemployment, California, extension, number, San Francisco, because I'm in the San Francisco area, rate. PA, I guess Pennsylvania is trending right now. Tax refund, benefits, update, and unemployment, okay? So now let's go to YouTube and compare the difference. Update, right? Unemployment update, unemployment tax return, unemployment extension update. Like we just filed an extension with our CPA, right? We let them know about our taxes and things like that. So I'm going to gather the data on those. Unemployment frauds is trending right now. Look at that. But look in terms of relevance, okay? Google is more concerned with where are you? What are people searching for? And how does that impact you? YouTube is more about updates, okay? Tax return doesn't even show up in Google as a relevant term. Unemployment extension shows up in both Google and YouTube. Benefits shows up in Google and YouTube, but it's way longer bar in YouTube. That means it's way more relevant. Okay. So I would say I would focus on benefits, and I would run this search again. And let's see if we can find a niche. Okay, so they combine the two. Unemployment benefits update. Let's go to extension. I guess Texas, New York. Exhausted. Benefits update today. And look at that, right? Unemployment benefits exhausted. Okay, 7 videos on that topic. It's still a niche. I guess, Texas and New York doesn't really matter because those are geographies. But in terms of finding a niche, let's go look at this video. Thousands of Lucas County residents now face uncertainty as their unemployment benefits run out at 11:59. In Lucas County alone, more than 4,000 people, right? So you can see in the results, keep in mind, I'm all inside of search triggers and I'm looking for results. Who's covered by expanded unemployment benefits? So you could spin this into easy one-up, but here's the distinction. I don't believe, I'm just going to be really straight with you. Maybe you can come on camera. I don't believe that easy one-up is a solution for unemployment. I don't think that most people who have had jobs are basically still suckling on the nipple are the same type of person that can become an entrepreneur. Becoming an entrepreneur takes a certain commitment, discipline. So I would not even target an unemployment community. That's why I target people who are in martial arts, gaming, and the military, because they have discipline. I don't think people who are used to unemployment have enough discipline to be able to make it successfully in easy one-up. And I know that's probably going to really piss some people off, but I actually don't care, because it takes money to make money with easy one-up, right? And if you don't have digital marketing skills, you don't have camera skills, you don't have editorial skills, you don't have writing skills, you don't have copywriting skills, I think the number one prerequisite for survival in today's world is copywriting. I think you have to figure out how to persuade people to buy from you. If you can't persuade people to buy from you, you're going to be, sitting there with more month at the end of your money than money at the end of your month, which is why we do these sessions, all the time. And you might say, well, how do you get to be good at copywriting? Well, let me bring up one of my books here. From one of my mentors called Triggers. That's where the name Search Triggers came from. It was from this book. I thought, could I build software that takes the psychology of copywriting and put it into and combine it with search, right? And that's what we came up with, Search Triggers. I'm going to read you. This is an autograph copy, right? Autograph copy by someone I used to work for, Joe Sugarman. 30 sales tools you can use to control the mind of your prospect to motivate, influence, and persuade. I actually challenged him on the title. I said, you really want to control people? And I said, that's what marketers do. Joe is also the publisher of the Maui News. So he and I became good friends in Maui. And he hired me to install, I almost want to tell this story because it's so entertaining. he has a house in Maui, which is like it's rented out at somewhere north of like 10,000 or 13. I think it's like $13,000 a day per day. It's this beautiful mansion on the beach, and he rents it out. I think it's like 50 grand a week if you get a discount. And people would rent it because they want to go on vacation, but they don't want to be seen. So someone like Elon Musk would rent that type of a place. And at the time, he wanted his internet to be shared between his household and the household next to him. And he wanted me to go in and build a relay switch that would beam the internet from his household over to the guest house. He also wanted to be able to shut off the internet remotely to that house. Because I was thinking, well, why wouldn't you just, you're renting the place for $10,000 to $13,000 a day. Why don't you just pay the $70, $80 a month for the internet? And in hindsight, I realized it's because he wanted to be able to control the internet to that house for whatever reason, right? And he said, "You want the job or not?" I said, "Yeah, I want the job." And I said, "Well, what do you charge?" I said, "Well, I charge $150 an hour." He says, "I can pay you $85 because I can go get it from someone else for $85. And I said, "Okay, well, I'll do it." He says, "But I'll tell you what, if you work for me, I'm going to give you my books." And I also said, "Could you tutor my girlfriend in how to use a computer?" I said, "Yes, I can." He said, "Well, for that, I'm going to pay you, I think, much less." It was the going rate for being a teacher and a tutor. And so every week I would go and I would tutor his girlfriend in how to use a computer, and I installed the network on his system. And what I learned was the power of humility in working for someone else. I also learned the value of money, because you can only charge, and pay attention to this, what the going rate is for that good or service. Otherwise, you're out of alignment with fair exchange, right? So he said, if you want to build a website for me, the going rate for building websites is $150 an hour. I will pay you $150 an hour for building a website. If you want to be tutoring my girlfriend, it's $50 an hour. I'm going to pay you $50 an hour for that. If you want to put a network together, I can get other people to do it for $85 an hour. I'm willing to pay you for that. Well, in network marketing, how do you price yourself? How do you basically allow yourself to be in this world where you're paid by performance? If you don't sell something, you starve. Call a spade a spade. And that comes down to sales acumen, persuasion, and your ability to motivate and inspire people, and to know, like, and trust you long enough that they actually want to buy from you. So my purpose here in this broadcast is, yes, of course, I want you to buy search triggers. Of course I do. More importantly, I'm not making this broadcast for people to buy search triggers. I'm making this broadcast for the 25. I just looked at my logs. I didn't know it was that much. There are 2,600 people that have search triggers but don't know how to use it. Right? There are people like a PhD on LinkedIn. She reached out to me and she said, "Vic, I tried to sign up for search triggers and I got this message, invalid or missing registration information. And when I went in there and I tried to register myself, I did not get that error." So I reached out to her and I said, "Well, okay, wow, I want to figure that out so I could tell my development team how to do that." That's called being caring. I care for my customers. I care for my audience because I want them to use these tools, because the success of the tool is only as good as the people who have success with it. And so I brought in Nick, who I would say is probably my best student so far. He came in at 800,000 views. He's now doubled his traffic. One of his employees used search triggers. It wasn't Danny who was on here earlier. It was someone else. But he bought search triggers from me. And he gave me his specialty, which I think he charges $5,000 for. I mean, he's not cheap. I mean, he lives in Southern California, and he has a waiting list of people for health consultations. He does these live blood cell analysis, and I was scared. I thought, he's going to tell me to stop drinking coffee. He's going to tell me to stop, sorry, Nick, I still drink coffee. But I felt so healthy staying in his home and drinking beet juice. Then now I drink beet juice. That was something I could easily add to my diet. And he has this beets. I'd totally forgotten the power of beets. And I actually went to his party and at his book launch, and we partied like way into the night. I drank way too much. I had a terrible hangover. And I woke up in the morning, and there's Nick, pumping iron. And I'm like, wow, man, I want to. And he saw me and he said, dude, you look hungover, like you drank too much. And I said, yeah. And I said, you have anything for that? So he made me this potion. I drank the potion. Like within 30 minutes, I was feeling a little bit less hungover. And then he actually had me get on a trampoline and start exercising and lifting weights. And the more I did physical exercise on a trampoline, I started feeling better and better and better. And then as the day progressed, I showed him search triggers. I showed him what I was up to. And he says, I want that. I want to buy it from you. He bought it from me. And he says, could you train my guys in how to use the software? And I said, yeah, sure. I said, well, let me give you in exchange, let me do a health analysis for you. And so he took my blood, he looked at it, he told me what I needed to take and some supplements. And he, I got this whole big bag full of stuff to drive back home with me. And I joined the gym after that. So now I work out, and I look younger today than I did 10 years ago. And, I think a lot of let's face it, I'm not doing all the things Nick told me to do, but, he was a catalyst for me to get back onto the path of health. And so I really love and I appreciate him. It's so nice to have him come back and to have him have the results with his employees that are using search triggers to literally double his views. Now, is search triggers going to work if you don't have any content? You have no videos, you have no nothing? No, it's not. But what I can tell you is search triggers. Let me show you my screen here on my YouTube channel, okay? On my own YouTube channel. Yeah. We love beets, both red and gold. I'm going to go to my YouTube studio, and I'm going to show you just my own YouTube channel, completely transparent. I'm going to go into lifetime mode. Let's see what we can do here. All right, take a look. I don't know if you can see that, but take a look at that. Right. Well, that's the answer most people say is I can't remember if I have search triggers or not. And a lot of that has to do with email. They don't remember what email address they used to register, and they don't remember what password they used to register. So my team is now working on blending search triggers with SociSnap with a singular login so that people they can do one click with Google, one click with iPhone or Apple, one click with Facebook. And we're hopefully going to have that rolling out by the second quarter. But let me show you my screen here. If you could just look at this, this is my channel, September 25th, 2012. And I uploaded a bunch of videos. And then over here, I got like 300 views a day, 300 views a day, 300 views a day, 300 views a day, 200 views a day. Very normal kind of results. In December 26, 2016, I thought, you know what? The shoemaker's children can't continue to go barefoot. I'm going to use search triggers on my channel. I think it sounds too much like search trends. Well, okay. Well, it's a great name. A lot of people love it. But look, let me zoom in here for a little bit and see if you can see this. Okay. Look at those results, right? It was basically flatlined until I started using search triggers. As soon as I used search triggers, I went up to 500. Very quickly, I hit a spike. Let me see if I can find that spike. There it is. 11,000. May 25th, 2017, I hit 11,000 in one day. Okay? Just by targeting and changing the title of a pre-existing video that was uploaded years before. 11,000 visitors in one day. Is that cool or cool? Let me hear from you guys in the audience what you think about that. Cool? All right. So if this was just a one-off, okay, when I go to Mr. Peter Wolfing's account, actually, I can go to Nick's account. Let me go to Nick's account, who was here earlier today, because I'm still, I believe, yep. I'm going to go into Nick's account. I'm going to go into analytics. Go into lifetime. You see similar results. Nothing, 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 nothing. And right around here, I think this is right around the time when I met Nick, we started using search triggers. Okay. Let's go into Peter's account. So he started right around here. Wait, is this? Yeah, 2011. And then he had some success back then, but then it dropped off. And then right around here, we started using search triggers. Let me go into the last 365 days. Okay. This is how his channel was. And then you can see when we started using search triggers and I did a consultation with Peter, look what happened, right? It's that same effect happened. Okay. But a lot of people say, oh, yeah, well, if I can do it, you can do it too. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I don't think you can. Amazing. Yeah. And I'm going to challenge you to see if you can do it, because you've got to be making great content, or you have to be interviewing famous people, or you have to be picking trends that people care about, or you have to align yourself with someone who knows what they're doing and is willing to do that. And I recommend you team up because it's way too hard to try to do it on your own. Okay. One of my colleagues put out a survey on his channel, and he's got more subscribers than I do. You know, almost all my friends in YouTube have way more subscribers than I do. Okay. I feel like a guppy compared to these guys. And he put out a survey, say, would you prefer to watch a show where there's one host or two? And 2/3 of his people, I think 70% said they prefer having two hosts. They prefer having two hosts rather than one. They prefer having two people talking rather than one. They prefer having a dialogue with an audience than a monologue with that. Yeah, so you're doing reviews of yours and Peter's stuff. You know what? Leverage that. I'm actually tempted to say, you know what, Peter, why don't we take all of our content and make it unlisted, members only? Let's just take it all down, all of it down, and let's do what I taught tonight. Let's take 5 minutes of our best stuff. Let's create 20 seconds, put it on the beginning, and put that out there on our channel. And I know that we're going to totally succeed because we're going to be doing that one soundbite. But here's the problem with that. Let me tell you the problem with that. You guys and gals won't have the background of relatedness. You won't have the foundation that we've been building over years on this channel and others. You're going to miss out on your ability to duplicate our results because you're going for the quick fix, right? You're going to be getting the soundbite. I can give you the soundbite right now, right? I'll give you the soundbite. Hey, if you're watching this video and you want to learn how to get more views on YouTube, all you have to do is gesticulate with your hands and put that kind of an expression, and you'll get more views automatically. Pretend you're shocked, right? If you want more tips than this, keep watching the video. Okay. Typically, you got to think of it like an editor. Okay. You're here, you're live, you're on camera. You're wanting to do things. You're wanting to be things. You're wanting to, I gave you those secrets tonight. Number one, you must gesticulate with your hands. Number two, you have to come across very clearly in what you're going to be saying. Number three, you have to have some length and depth, but you've got to be able to put those key sound bites in the beginning. So as the broadcast is coming to a close, is the best time for you to actually announce what the video is going to be about. Then you go in and edit it so that you get those sound bites in 20 seconds. You put that at the beginning, and then you keep refining and refining and refining and refining your videos. And then the biggest secret of all is you use Facebook ads to split test your images before you upload them to YouTube. You go live once a week, and you upload your videos public once a week, and you queue up your audience, especially when you're getting started, to anticipate the release of your best content. You create a members area once you have one. You get monetized as quickly as you can. You collaborate with peers, some who are better than you and bigger than you, like with Nick, who is here. He has double my subscribers. I've got double his traffic, right? Together, we make a good fit because he's better at converting people. I'm better at getting eyeballs. That's what I do. I'm the traffic guy. I know how to get traffic. My problem is not traffic. I can get as much traffic as I want because I know this secret, right? I know this secret right here. I know how to do this stuff. I know marketing by the numbers. Go buy this. Bob will appreciate it. I don't know how much money he gets out of it, but you want to do the marketing by the numbers. It's all about return on investment. My friend Scott, he does 3 times. It's called ROAS. ROAS. If you spend $20 on an ad, you got to collect $60 back. If you don't do that, you're going to be losing money. Okay. If you're selling something like Easy One Up, which has a $30 buy-in, and you're making $25, right? The most you can spend is a third of that. Okay, what's a third of 25? Round it down, let's say 8. Okay, $8. $8 to acquire a customer. It's not feasible. Our average customer acquisition cost of all of our products is anywhere from $70 to $125. So we're losing money the more we advertise, the more we make money. You know, you can't base it on that. Make sense? Search Triggers makes a lot more money, and SociSnap makes a lot more money because it sells for $70 or $100 or $100 a month. Or if people buy a discount, then it can be $500. $500 a year. Those tools make us more money because we can spend $30 on an ad for SociSnap, and we can promote it at $90. All right, so Selena, thank you for coming out there. And if you could just put one last comment in, because I don't know how many people are going to be seeing this. We're streaming live on 2 YouTube channels and 6 Facebook channels, and we always get the most views in the next 48 hours. Selena, what was your biggest takeaway from tonight? If you could put that in the chat. Yeah, I appreciate that, but I want to know what you learned, because I said a lot tonight. Other than everybody should buy the YouTube formula, right? I don't make any money for promoting these guys. Daryl only makes $4 when he publishes this stuff. Go get the YouTube formula, read it. Then buy Search Triggers, buy SociSnap. Come back to me, reach out to me. And what I'm doing in all of my stuff right now, all the beginner training is included free with any of my products. Advanced, intermediate people, we can work out a deal. We can also work out a deal with Bob and have you join the agency and have us do some work for you. But we don't want to work with beginners. It doesn't make any sense because you haven't quite cultivated your story enough. So we want to give you all that stuff for free.
It's like 10 minutes before.
Okay. Thank you all for coming out, and thank you for your comments. Wow, I'm just reading the comments. Dr. Stan Harris, thank you for coming out tonight. Dr. Nick Delgado, thank you for coming out. Dr. Bob Heyman, thank you for coming out tonight. Selena, thank you for being an ever-listening audience. And all of you live on YouTube and Facebook, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one.